Chapter 426. At this moment, Yang Dingtian was definitely someone who could make a move. For example, he made a move on Yang Zheng. In fact, Yang Zheng was no longer a threat to him. Moreover, he was not a bad person. He deserved sympathy from the start, especially when he married a pervert as his wife. Even though his wife was a pervert, she despised him from the start. She treated him as a mating tool. After they had sex, she immediately distanced herself from him. She was afraid that if she got close to him, it would affect Yang Dingtian's impression of her, which would affect her wealth. Of course, if Yang Zheng was a man, then Bing Ling would be a woman, and an extremely beautiful woman. Yang Dingtian didn't have any pity for her and immediately destroyed her. Now, it was Qin Ji's turn. This woman had a deep grudge against him. Yang Dingtian had made her miserable. She had also harmed Yang Dingtian and Yang Dingtian's family many times. Even when she was at her weakest, Yang Dingtian did not take advantage of her. In the secret realm of Despair City, it was always her who bullied Yang Dingtian. However, she had changed now. She had become a paranoid and perverted woman. In her own words, she was only left with beauty. She wanted to burn her beauty with her life. Therefore, her current dream was to become a beauty who harmed men. She wanted to be a femme fatale who could make all men fall for her. To put it more crudely, her dream was to be a pervert. Of course, in her own words, she wanted to seduce men, but she would not sell her body. She wanted to make all men fall for her. She wanted to be a peerless beauty who could make all men go crazy. Faced with a woman who put on makeup and looked at herself in the mirror 24 hours a day, should Yang Dingtian kill her? Should he not kill her? What if everything before was just her acting? If he let her leave alive, it would undoubtedly cause great harm to Yang Dingtian. Previously, he did not kill her. Therefore, this person became Qin Ji to harm him. After handing the sword to Yang Dingtian, Qin Ji hummed a little tune and looked around. She didn't care about her own life or death at all. Yang Dingtian placed his sword across her neck and slit it. Bright red blood flowed out from her snow-white and delicate neck. Hey, it hurts. Qin Ji jumped and hurriedly looked at her neck in the mirror. Then, she carefully wiped it with a silk handkerchief and angrily rebuked Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian, what's wrong with you? If you want to kill him, then use force and directly chop off his head, okay? If you cut me like that, it will hurt a lot and leave a scar. Then, she took out the mysterious ice jade ointment and smeared it on the wound. She frowned and scolded, men are so cheap. They can't go up or down. Yang Dingtian directly handed the treasured sword to Zhao Mu and said, I'll leave this to you. Then, Yang Dingtian turned around and left. Then, Qin Huayu and Song Chunhua also turned around and left. Behind them, Qin Ji suddenly jumped up and screamed, Yang Dingtian, are you still a man? You personally promised to kill me. Now you're going back on your word. Let me tell you, if you don't kill me, I promise you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I'll take revenge on you in the future. You better be careful. Yang Dingtian didn't bother about her and continued walking. I'll do everything I can to change my face. Then, I'll run to your side and you won't be able to recognize me. Then, I'll seduce you. After you're completely with me, I'll tell you the truth. I promise you'll be scared to death. You'll be afraid of women for the rest of your life. Ha! Qin Ji laughed behind him. Yang Dingtian, to tell you the truth, when you were unconscious in the secret realm, I've already played with you. Don't you feel that something is wrong? Go back and have nightmares, bastard. Yang Dingtian ignored the crazy Qin Ji and directly led them to the 5th floor of the trial room. They went to the secret passage that led to the outside and waited for Zhao Mu. After a while, Zhao Mu came down and returned the sword to Yang Dingtian. The sword was stained with bright red blood. The blood was about half a foot long, and it pierced through Qin Ji's chest. I pierced her chest, Zhao Mu said. I've avenged my uncle. Yang Dingtian nodded and took the sword. He swung it lightly to get rid of the blood. Then, I placed her under the holy light pillar. Zhao Mu said, because she saved us before. Without her, we wouldn't have been able to leave. We wouldn't have been able to complete the trial. We might even have died. Qin Huayu's body trembled slightly, but he didn't say anything. Just as Yang Dingtian said, Zhao Mu had the absolute right to speak on how to deal with Qin Ji. However, I don't know if she can survive, Zhao Mu said. Because she kept bleeding. Even under the holy light pillar, she didn't circulate her qi to heal her wounds. That's none of our business. Yang Dingtian said, let's go. Time is of the essence. We should leave and hurry. Then, Yang Dingtian led everyone out of the passage. The secret passage that led to the outside was very, 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 very long. It was as if there was no end in sight. Moreover, every time Yang Dingtian and the others took a step out, a body of energy would grow behind them and seal the passage. In other words, this passage could only be left but not entered. In other words, even if Qin Ji survived, she wouldn't be able to come out. She wouldn't be able to come out until the mirage disappeared in a few dozen days. Perhaps, this was the best ending for him. After a full 100 miles, Yang Dingtian finally walked through the long passage and saw the outside world. As soon as they walked out of the passage, the natural light shone on them. Everyone instinctively closed their eyes. After staying in the underground mystic realm for nearly 2 months, everyone felt dazzled when they came to the world above ground again. Even though the mystic realm was shrouded in blood-red fog and sunlight couldn't shine through. However, everyone still felt the aura of freedom. Even in the hellish environment of the demon territory, it was much better than the magnificent prison of the City of Despair. However, they still had to thank the City of Despair mystic realm. It made Yang Dingtian and the others much stronger and gained a lot. Yang Dingtian turned around and saw that the long passage was wriggling and then disappearing inch by inch. Soon, everything returned to normal. There were ferocious stones everywhere. The exit of the City of Despair had disappeared without a trace. Suddenly, the voice of the stone giant in the City of Despair mystic realm rang in Yang Dingtian's mind. Guest of the mystic realm, please set the password for the mystic realm before you leave. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was stunned. There was such an obligation and function. Guest of the mystic realm, please set the password for the mystic realm before you leave, the stone giant repeated. No Zuan Dai, the mystic realm is open. Yang Dingtian's heart suddenly had a mischievous thought as he set up this bizarre secret realm's password. Please write down this password in your mind, the stone giant said. Immediately, Yang Dingtian wrote down this strange secret code that coexisted in both English and Chinese in his heart. The password for the next opening of the City of Despair is set. Goodbye, the stone giant said and disappeared in front of Yang Dingtian. In Yang Dingtian's mind, he could clearly see a piece of jade that was slowly engraved with this secret message. No Zuan Dai, the mystic realm is open. It was the handwriting left behind by Yang Dingtian. Now, Yang Dingtian knew where the password for the mystic realm in traditional Chinese came from when he entered the hall. It didn't mean that the City of Despair mystic realm had anything to do with the China on Earth. It was because the previous guest who entered the City of Despair mystic realm was also a transmigrator and a person from China on Earth. However, Yang Dingtian was even more shocked. Who could this person be? How many years ago did he come to the City of Despair mystic realm? How many years ago did someone enter the City of Despair mystic realm? There was no answer. The stone giant didn't say anything, nor did the ice spirit. Of course, Yang Dingtian didn't ask either. If Yang Dingtian knew that the previous guest who entered the City of Despair mystic realm was also a transmigrator, he would definitely ask. However, that should be a long, long time ago. This was because Qin Ji had said that the people from the evil ways had discovered this mysterious hall a long time ago. They had also discovered the password for the mystic realm, but they didn't manage to enter it. This meant that Yang Dingtian was the only transmigrator in the chaotic world. However, this meant that the City of Despair mystic realm would be sealed for a long, long time. It might even be sealed for eternity. This was because it had been monopolized by the transmigrators. Of course, unless Yang Dingtian felt that it was necessary to leave behind the method to open the mystic realm. In other words, Yang Dingtian actually owned and monopolized the mystic realm. However, even if he wanted to send someone to the mystic realm for the trial, it would be many years later. This was because many years later, during the mirage, the mystic realm would be opened again. Let's go. Everyone take the antidote pill and circulate all your celestial qi. Use your fastest speed to leave the demon area, Yang Dingtian said. Yes. Everyone shouted. This place was more than 3,000 miles away from the end of the demon area and the source of the river of ecstasy. Previously, Yang Dingtian and the rest had spent a few days because they had to be careful. They were afraid that they wouldn't be able to reach the place where the celestial fire bloomed. Moreover, they were afraid of encountering a battle. However, they now knew that everything that had happened before was Qin Ji's scheme. There wouldn't be a single person in the demon area. Everyone rushed at full speed. They could cover a few hundred miles in 2 hours. In less than 16 hours, Yang Dingtian and the rest had covered more than 3,000 miles and reached the end of the river of ecstasy. Senior brother Qin, Xiaomu can't fly yet. Carry him, Yang Dingtian said. Yes. Qin Huayu carried Xiaomu. Now, Qin Huayu, Yang Dingtian, and Song Chunhua were all grandmasters. Flying was a piece of cake for the three of them. Although the little girl Vulture was only a martial revered, when she was a heaven-defying celestial spirit master and a martial ancestor, she dared to kill a 9-star martial revered martial ancestor, Zhu Hongxue. Moreover, she flew faster than him. Swoosh swoosh swoosh, immediately, the four of them flew into the sky at full speed. They followed the river of ecstasy and flew towards the southwest. After flying for less than 300 miles, there were nearly 10 flying mounts in front of them. They were pacing back and forth in the sky, even though there wasn't a single rider on them. These flying mounts were sent by the World Society and the Northwest Qin City's forces in the Land of Chaos. Even though no one came from this place, they still followed Song Chunhua and Qin Huayu's orders and sent out flying mounts to wait on the river of ecstasy. Yang Dingtian and the rest rode on these high-grade flying mounts and flew at full speed. These flying mounts were the best in the chaotic land. Therefore, they could fly at a speed of nearly 1,000 miles. Therefore, in just a few hours, Yang Dingtian and the rest had flown a few thousand miles away from the river of ecstasy and arrived at the territory of the Temple of Blood. Brother? Do you want to take a look at the Temple of Blood? Qin Huayu asked. No need. Yang Dingtian then turned his head to take a look. The Mountain of Blood was 300 miles to the northwest. They could still vaguely see it from a few hundred miles away. Thick black smoke mixed with the blood-red aura of death soared into the sky. The Temple of Blood must have undergone a great change. Even though Du Gushao had extraordinary intelligence, he was still unable to prevent the Temple of Annihilation from dragging the Temple of Blood into the abyss of war and death. Just as he had said, he, Du Gushao, would never betray the Temple of Annihilation. Let's go. Yang Dingtian then continued flying. After flying over 1,000 miles of the Temple of Blood's territory, Yang Dingtian noticed something different. Previously, although the Temple of Blood's territory was known as the territory of the evil ways, it was a peaceful place where people lived in peace and contentment. The people on the ground were living better than the people in Cloud Heaven City. But now, the sky above the territory was filled with black smoke and the aura of flames. There were burning houses, traces of armed forces, and corpses of commoners. The peaceful Temple of Blood's territory was also dragged into the impending war. At the very least, they were already preparing for war. Some people had already noticed Yang Dingtian above them. But the strange thing was that there weren't any flying warriors intercepting and killing them. Instead, they allowed Yang Dingtian and the rest to pass by. After flying over the Temple of Blood's territory, there was a long stretch of no man's land. These were the wounds left behind by the great apocalyptic war 200 years ago and had yet to recover. After the ruins, there was 1,000 miles of swamp. After the swamp, it was the land of chaos. The land of chaos was previously filled with danger to Yang Dingtian, but the current land of chaos made Yang Dingtian feel like the entire world had given up on this place. The evil ways had given up, and so had the Tiando League. Therefore, this place had become the most chaotic, the poorest, and the most destitute place. This place had become the buffer zone between the Tiando League and the evil ways. At this moment, Yang Dingtian and the rest were flying over the land of chaos. To these lowly wandering warriors on the ground, they were undoubtedly like demons or emperors that had descended from the heavens. They had absolute control over the lives of the people on the ground. Just like Dugu Fengwu, who flew into the sky out of anger and slaughtered all the wandering warriors in the town. They didn't stop for long in the land of chaos. After changing their mounts, Yang Dingtian and the rest continued to fly towards the west, returning to Cloud Heaven City first. 6 hours later, Yang Dingtian and the rest had already arrived at the sky above Cloud Heaven City. They didn't sleep or rest for an entire day and night. After flying for close to 20,000 miles, they finally rushed back to Cloud Heaven City from the demon region. In the sky, Yang Dingtian immediately felt the aura of Cloud Heaven City as if they were facing a great enemy. There was even a gloomy and fearful aura. On the road, there were cavalry patrolling everywhere. On the city walls, every sentry post on the mountain, and every pass on the road were fully armed troops. In the sky, there were a few rows of flying cavalry patrolling everywhere. But other than that, there were no traces of a great battle. It was obvious that Qin Chichi's army hadn't arrived yet. The patrolling cavalry quickly discovered Yang Dingtian and the rest and immediately chased after them. After discovering that it was Yang Dingtian, the patrolling cavalry was ecstatic. He immediately knelt on the back of the cavalry and shouted, "Greetings to the city lord." Yang Dingtian waved his hand. The flying cavalry immediately got up from his back. Then, 2 rows of flying cavalry patrolling behind Yang Dingtian to protect him. Before Yang Dingtian landed in Cloud Heaven City, he was already discovered by the troops on the ground. Suddenly, the heavy atmosphere shook violently. Suddenly, all the soldiers and warriors' morale soared. Those who were patrolling, those who were stationed, those who were training, and those who were cultivating, knelt down like a tide. "Greetings to the city lord. Greetings to the city lord." Yang Dingtian waved his hand and asked everyone to get up. He waved to the warriors as he walked into the main hall. "City lord, I heard that the Northwest Qin City wants to send an army of 100,000 to suppress and destroy us. Is that true?" A warrior asked Yang Dingtian loudly. His voice was filled with faint uneasiness. Yang Dingtian realized that at this moment, all the warriors' faces were filled with uneasiness. There was even an aura of despair and fear. Yang Dingtian's heart skipped a beat. What exactly had happened? Just how severe was the situation? Could it be that a mere army of 100,000 from the Qin city was enough to make all the warriors in Cloud Heaven City so discouraged and afraid? Yang Dingtian immediately stood still and looked at everyone. "Everyone, remember this. There is no such thing as the Northwest Qin City attacking Cloud Heaven City. A few months ago, I married Miss Qin Jiaojiao from the Northwest Qin City, so we are one family. How could the Northwest Qin City attack us? But, we heard that the Qin City has already sent people to ask Second Madam to return to the Qin City." That warrior said, "Moreover, not only the Northwest Qin City's army, but also the World Society, Autumn Water Sword Sect, Sky Phoenix Pavilion, and so on. The entire Northwest, Southwest, and North Continent, all the forces of the Tiando League are attacking us." Yang Dingtian was instantly shocked. Qin Chichi wasn't the only army. There was even the World Society. And Sky Phoenix Pavilion? Even the entire Western world had come to attack Cloud Sky City. Why was that? There was no reason. What exactly had happened? Looking at the uneasy and fearful Cloud Heaven City disciples, Yang Dingtian laughed loudly. Ridiculous. There is no such thing. These are all rumors. That's right, there is an army that is attacking Cloud Heaven City, but it is not the Qin City's army. It is the lackey of the evil ways, the pawns of Qin Chi and the South Sea Ning clan. Someone said that the World Society and Qin City are attacking us. Look, who are these two people beside me? Instantly, Qin Huayu tore off his cloak and revealed his face. Song Chunhua took off the armor mask on his face and revealed his handsome face. This is the young master of the Northwest Qin City, the future supreme master of the Northwest Qin City, Qin Huayu. This is the young master of the World Society, the future master of the World Society, Song Chunhua. These two people are the most loyal friends of Cloud Heaven City. They are comrades in arms who have gone through life and death with me. Yang Dingtian spoke loudly, therefore, the rumor that the Qin City is going to attack me and the World Alliance is going to attack me is absurd. That's right. Qin Huayu said loudly, I hereby announce that I, Qin Huayu, and Qin City will always stand together with City Lord Yang Dingtian. Whoever wants to attack Cloud Heaven City will have to step over my dead body first. Song Chunhua said loudly, I hereby swear that City Lord Yang Dingtian's enemy is my enemy. Wherever City Lord Yang Dingtian's sword points to, I will kill in that direction. The World Society and Cloud Heaven City will form a blood alliance and never betray each other. When the crowd heard Qin Huayu and Song Chunhua's words, they cheered loudly. Their morale was boosted and they felt honored. Long live City Lord Yang Dingtian. Long live young Master Qin Huayu. Long live young Master Song Chunhua. Instantly, the aura of fear, gloom, and despair were all swept away. Yang Dingtian and the others were also excited. They smiled and greeted all the Cloud Heaven City disciples. In front, Madame Shiman led the Cloud Heaven City crowd and knelt down. Cloud Heaven City's Elder Guild welcomes the return of the City Lord. Yang Dingtian accepted the greeting and went forward to help Madame Shiman up. Immediately after, he knelt down and said, Yang Dingtian pays his respects to his mother-in-law. At the same time, Song Chunhua, Qin Huayu, and Xiaomu also knelt down to pay their respects. The little girl Vulture also hurriedly knelt down. Madame Shiman saw this and couldn't help but be stunned. Song Chunhua and Qin Huayu, with their noble statuses, actually knelt down as well. After the greeting, Yang Dingtian quickly entered the main hall. He wanted to know what had happened. Just how bad was the situation? Chapter 427. After entering the main hall, Yang Dingtian's passionate face immediately turned serious. Big brother, close the door, Yang Dingtian said. Immediately, the main hall's door was closed, blocking Yin Yan's hopeful gaze and Qin Jiaojiao's uneasy gaze. What exactly happened? Yang Dingtian asked as he walked to the City Lord's golden throne. Reporting to the City Lord, the southwest mainland has been completely pacified. Sky Phoenix Pavilion's army was completely annihilated. Pavilion Master Duan Ruyan and all the Sky Phoenix Pavilion's main combat faction experts were either killed or captured. Leng Yanmei returned as the new Sky Phoenix Pavilion Master and started a massacre, killing all of Duan Ruyan's direct subordinates. Jiao Liao knelt down and said sorrowfully. She looked a little weak, but there were 2 unhealed scars on her face. Yang Dingtian's eyes twitched, how can that be? Pavilion Master Duan Ruyan is an advanced master, not far from becoming a martial grandmaster. Moreover, there are 2 or 3 martial grandmasters among the Sky Phoenix Pavilion's elders. When the City Lord sent me to Sky Phoenix Pavilion, it was when Qin Chi-Chi's attack on Sky Phoenix Pavilion was at its fiercest. Thus, when I arrived, I immediately joined the battle. Jiao Liao said, the poison that the city lord gave me was extremely shocking. It directly killed nearly 10,000 people in Qin army. Then, Pavilion Master Duan personally led dozens of martial honorable experts and charged into Qin South Continent City to execute the decapitation operation. She planned to kill Qin and Ning Wuming directly. And then? Yang Dingtian asked. Pavilion Master Duan did not succeed. Snake Tail Jiao said, because Qin and Ning Wuming in the south region's Lord Qingzhu residence were only substitutes. However, the three martial grandmasters by Qin side were all killed. Moreover, at this time, Qin army was poisoned and 10,000 people died. Then, Sky Phoenix Pavilion's army of 10,000 people took the opportunity to counterattack and defeated Qin army, killing 20 to 30,000 people. At this point, Qin army of 100,000 people died. Hearing this, although everyone knew that there were unforeseen events, they still felt refreshed. At that time, all of us thought that the outcome was already decided. Pavilion Master Duan Ruyan even joked with me that maybe we don't need to fight the war in Cloud Sky City anymore. We can just finish it in the southwest continent. She even said that you owe her a huge favor, Snake Tail said. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but think of Duan Ruyan's appearance. She was really a very special woman. Unrivaled beauty was almost everything to many women, but to her, it was the most insignificant thing. Her personality, willpower, carefreeness, integrity, and straightforwardness were all incomparably dazzling existences. That was why the overlord of a generation, Qin Wanqiu, could not forget her and viewed her as the only woman he had ever loved in his life. And then? Yang Dingtian asked. After witnessing Pavilion Master Duan's great victory, the powers in the southwest continent began to waver. They abandoned Qin and turned to Pavilion Master Duan's side. The Southwest Alliance army led by the Sky Phoenix Pavilion had a total of 70 to 80,000 men, which was even more than Qin army. So, at that time, all of us thought that the outcome was already decided, Jiao Liao said. At that time, Qin army had already begun to flee in large numbers. Then, Pavilion Master Duan decided to launch an all-out attack on South Continent City on the 15th of a month ago to eliminate Qin army. And then? Yang Dingtian asked. The Southwest Alliance army led by Pavilion Master Duan was like a hot knife through butter. They directly invaded South Continent City and killed their way to Qin residence, Jiao Liao said. At that time, I was at the front line beside Pavilion Master Duan. Suddenly, Jiao Liao's beautiful face turned pale and her delicate body trembled. Even though it had been a few dozen days, she still felt a sense of fear. Then, an army of only 3,000 men surged out of Qin residence. They were wearing snow-white armor and black cloaks. Their entire faces were hidden in the cloaks, only revealing their eyes. Every pair of eyes had blood-red pupils. Even though they were very far away, there was still a terrifying cold aura coming from them. Jiao Liao continued, then, this army of 3,000 men annihilated the 70 to 80,000 Alliance army led by Pavilion Master Duan within 4 hours. Pavilion Master Duan led all the experts and decided to ignore the battle and directly kill Qin and Ning Wuming. At that time, 10 people appeared beside Qin and Ning Wuming. In just 15 minutes, they killed the 100 experts led by Pavilion Master Duan Ruyan. Pavilion Master Duan was the only one left. He was knocked unconscious and captured. As soon as she said that, the entire place turned icy cold. What were the cultivation levels of those 10 people? Yang Dingtian asked. All of them were Grandmaster or above, Jiao Liao said. 9 of them were wearing purple robes. One of them was completely hidden in black armor. His face and eyes were hidden. It was as if he wasn't a real person. This person had been following Qin closely. This person was at the Grandmaster level. Pavilion Master Duan Ruyan was defeated by him. Instantly, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. 9 Grandmasters and 1 Grandmaster. These 9 purple-robed grandmasters should be from the Ning clan of the South Sea. They are the most loyal subordinates of the evil demon princely Ming. Yang Dingtian said, the grandmaster-level expert that Qin Chichi brought from Qin City should have been killed by Pavilion Master Duan Ruyan. That. I should know about the grandmaster-level expert. Qin Huayu said, City Lord Yang, do you still remember that day when you went to rescue Pavilion Master Duan Ruyan? In our Qin City's dungeon, there was a grandmaster-level dungeon under the grandmaster-level dungeon. I remember. I was very shocked that day. There was actually a grandmaster-level prisoner in Qin City, Yang Dingtian said. I don't know who that grandmaster-level prisoner was, Qin Huayu said. You should also remember that my father once led a team to fight a demon spirit. After paying a huge price, he finally got a 1,000-year-old demon spirit. Yang Dingtian nodded and said, what does your father plan to do with this demon spirit? I didn't know before, but now I can guess. Qin Huayu said bitterly, it's to create a grandmaster-level battle puppet demon. His goal is the same as ours, to create a battle puppet demon with the heart of a demon spirit. Father didn't tell me about this secret. This battle puppet demon has already been created, and father gave it to Qin Chichi. When he said these words, Qin Huayu's expression became even more bitter. Yang Dingtian's heart also sank. This meant that Qin Wanqiu had already chosen his side. He actually gave the grandmaster-level battle puppet demon to Qin Chichi. Qin Huayu's chances weren't high, and Yang Dingtian's chances weren't high either. Taking a deep breath, Yang Dingtian asked, Qin Chichi's Special Blood Eye Army, 3,000 people annihilated 80,000 people? Yes. Jiao Liao said, the 80,000 people of the Southwest Alliance Army had almost no ability to resist. It was like slaughtering chickens and dogs. This army of 3,000 people had invincible weapons. Invulnerable armor, fearless of death, as if they didn't know pain, and pressed forward courageously. Moreover, each of them had a cultivation of high-level martial mystic level or above. 3,000 people formed a neat formation, like a complete killing machine. Suddenly, the air in the main hall suddenly turned cold. This army was undoubtedly a secret army from the evil ways. Yang Dingtian knew better than anyone how terrifying this army was. Invincible weapons, invulnerable armor, were already extremely terrifying. The most important thing was that there was no emotion, no fear, 3,000 people as one. How many martial mystic level experts could a grandmaster level expert kill? At most, it shouldn't exceed 300 before their mystic chi was completely exhausted. Therefore, even in this world of powerful martial arts, an elite army still had great significance. A grandmaster level expert was extremely powerful, but if he didn't use poison, he could only kill a few thousand people with his own cultivation. Then, what if it was an army of 100,000, or a few 100,000? And then? Yang Dingtian asked. Then, I was taken captive. Jiao Liao said, but Qin Chichi let me go, saying that you wouldn't be able to come back. She said to let, Jiao Liao couldn't continue. Go on. Yang Dingtian said. She said to let Madame Yan Yan and Madame Shiman Bei then wait for her husband, Ning Wuming. Jiao Liao said. Suddenly, the entire main hall was filled with anger. And then? Yang Dingtian continued to ask. Then, I saw Lin Yanmei appear. Originally, Pavilion Master Duan Ruyan had completely severed her mystic meridians, but when she appeared again, not only did her cultivation recover, but her strength also skyrocketed, and she became a high-level grandmaster. Jiao Liao said, then, she carried out a bloody purge in Sky Phoenix Pavilion. There were more than 10,000 disciples in Sky Phoenix Pavilion, and more than half of them were killed. Among them, the most beautiful ones were all crippled of their martial arts and sent to a mysterious place as female slaves to various major forces. Qin Chichi's upper echelons were also used to humiliate them. Boom! Yang Dingtian's body was abruptly ignited with fury. Yang Dingtian suddenly stood up and rode on the pillar with his sword, I swear to kill Qin Chichi. Then, he looked at the crowd and said, everyone, I once spared Qin Ji's life. But now, please remember this and remind me in the future. No matter what difficulties Qin Chichi has, no matter what changes she makes, I will definitely kill her. I will definitely put her to death in front of tens of thousands of people, and cut her into 1,000 pieces. If I violate this oath, I will be like this beast. After saying that, Yang Dingtian aimed at a golden lion in front of him and slashed it down. In an instant, the golden lion was completely smashed into pieces. Yes! Everyone shouted. Yang Dingtian took in a deep breath and suppressed his anger that soared to the sky. He asked, that world meeting, that Northwest Qin City also said that they want to suppress us. What's going on? Let me explain this matter. Wooden Sword Castle's Li Guinong said, last month, 5 days after the war in the southwest. As the leader of the Tiando League's Northwest branch, Leng Yanmei convened a meeting of the Tiando League. The meeting was about the disappearance of the future leader of the Tiando League and the future headmaster of Yinyang School, Dongfang Bingling. At this point, Yang Dingtian's heart skipped a beat. Then, Li Guinong narrated the matter. The Yinyang School's Northwest branch reported that they had completely lost contact with Dongfang Bingling for several months. They suspected that Dongfang Bingling had met with some mishap, so they requested the Tiando League's Northwest branch to help investigate. Later, someone reported to the Tiando League's Northwest branch, saying that they had seen Dongfang Bingling with a strange man and that she was heavily injured. Later, they found out that this strange man had left Cloud Sky City on a winged mount. Therefore, they suspected that this strange man was related to Yang Dingtian. Therefore, they suspected that Dongfang Bingling's disappearance was related to Yang Dingtian. Li Guinong said, therefore, at that time, the Tiando League's Northwest branch's meeting, the topic of discussion was whether or not to take coercive measures against City Lord Yang Dingtian. They asked whether or not Dongfang Bingling's disappearance was related to City Lord Yang Dingtian. But later, someone directly showed the Tiando League's Northwest branch something. It was a recording jade. On the screen, Miss Dongfang Bingling was covered in blood. She was lying beside a man on the verge of death, and this man was undressing her. The man on the screen was you. Therefore, they said that you used despicable means to kill Miss Dongfang Bingling and humiliated her. Previously, Leng Yanmei proposed to expel Cloud Sky City from the Tiando League and gather the Northwest Tiando League's army to suppress Cloud Sky City. However, she didn't get any approval. But after Leng Yanmei showed this evidence, the Tiando League's Northwest branch completely passed this resolution. Expel Cloud Sky City from the Tiando League, and the Tiando League's Northwest branch gradually joined forces to suppress the Tiando League. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's heart was completely shaken. It was no wonder there were rumors that the Northwest Qin City and the World Society were going to send a crusade. The Divine Weapons Manor, Sky Phoenix Pavilion, Autumn Water Sword Sect, White Cloud City, and all the other Heaven Dao Union factions in the Western world were going to send a crusade against Cloud Heaven City. Yang Dingtian closed his eyes and began to recall. That's right, there was such a scene. However, Yang Dingtian and Dongfang Bingling escaped from Sky Demon City. At that time, Yang Dingtian and Yi Qianqian were being chased by the 4 elders of the Ning clan of the South Sea. Dongfang Bingling tried to save Yang Dingtian, but her sea of energy shattered. She was covered in blood and on the verge of death. In the valley of Sky Demon City, Yang Dingtian took off her clothes and checked her injuries. But he didn't expect that this scene would also fall into the eyes of the evil ways. They even recorded it with the recording jade as evidence. I also saw the recording on the recording jade. Li Guinong said, in fact, it looked more like you were saving Miss Dongfang Bingling instead of hurting her. However, the annihilation of the Sky Phoenix Pavilion scared everyone out of their wits, so this decision was passed. Of course, I objected, so I was also seen as an accomplice of Cloud Sky City. Leng Yanmei has already reported to the Yinyang School and the Black Heaven sect. They also want to remove the wooden sword castle from the list. They also suggested that the Ning clan of the South Sea should replace them and become a member of the Tiando League. When he said this, Yang Dingtian couldn't help but laugh coldly. There was nothing more ridiculous in this world than this. The evil ways were actually going to join the Tiando League. Then, is the matter of Cloud Sky City being expelled from the Tiando League completely settled? Yang Dingtian asked. Not yet. Li Guinong said, the Tiando League Northwest Branch doesn't have the authority to kick a member out of the Tiando League. Only the headquarters of the Tiando League has this authority. Therefore, they have already reported to the headquarters of the Eastern Cloud State Tiando League. In about 2 months, they will have a discussion. At that time, whether or not Cloud Sky City will be expelled will depend on the results of this discussion. But the Northwest Tiando League's Crusade Army will still attack Cloud Sky City? Yang Dingtian asked. Yes. Li Guinong said, the Tiando League Northwest Branch has discussed the crusade on the 20th of next month. There are still 25 days until today. How many troops will the other party send? Yang Dingtian asked. In the meeting, only the Autumn Water Sword sect will send 10,000 troops. The Ning clan of the South Sea will send 50,000 troops. The Northwest Qin City will send 80,000 troops. The White Cloud City will send 20,000 troops. The West Continent City will send 20,000 troops. The 20,000 Wind Sword sect will send 20,000 troops. Li Guinong said, the rest of the forces, such as the World Society and the Divine Weapons Villa, are actually just observing. They only symbolically said that they will send troops. They haven't made a final decision. As Li Guinong said these numbers, the atmosphere in the main hall became more and more solemn. As of now, the number of troops in this alliance army was more than 200,000. The situation had really changed. In the future, the Crusade army wouldn't be Qin Chichi's 100,000 troops, but an alliance army of 200,000. Qin Chichi was more powerful than expected. Of course, she wouldn't need such a large force to destroy a mere Cloud Sky City. She and Ning Wuming were using the opportunity to destroy Cloud Sky City and Yang Dingtian to force the forces in the Western world to stand on the side of the evil ways. Evil ways had really become smarter. They didn't directly start a war to destroy the world and sweep up tens of millions of troops to sweep the world. They had also learned to use the mask of justice. They actually used the name of the Tiando League to destroy the leader of the Tiando League. There was no other ridiculous thing in the world that could be compared to this. Qin Chichi and Ning Wuming were so powerful that the Temple of Annihilation would definitely have a whole new level of respect for them. In the Tiando League Northwest Conference, did the Qin City Lord and the World Society Lord personally participate? Yang Dingtian asked. No. Li Guinong said, Qin City sent the sect lord's wife as a representative. The World Society sent Song Minghua as a representative. Song Minghua was Song Chuanhua's younger brother. In the World Society, he was considered one of the more outstanding disciples. He wasn't as foppish as Song Chuanhua's other younger brothers, but his talent wasn't top-notch. Then there's still a chance. Yang Dingtian said, especially the World Society. Yang Dingtian sat back on the golden throne and said, our situation looks very hopeless and scary. But in reality, it's not that scary. Because the ones who really want to kill us are only Qin Chichi, Ning Wuming, and the other evil ways. The rest of them are all sitting on the fence. When Yang Dingtian said this, everyone in the Cloud Sky City's Elders Guild was shocked. Their eyes lit up as they waited for Yang Dingtian to continue. To be honest, the enormous pressure they had been under recently had almost made them collapse. That kind of hopeless atmosphere, that feeling of being betrayed by everyone and being the enemy of the whole world, really made them feel hopeless. Even Madame Shiman felt that there was no hope of winning. Now, Yang Dingtian actually said that they had a high chance of winning. In the next 25 days, we will be divided into 2 factions. Yang Dingtian said, One is the invisible political battlefield. The other one is the tangible one, the punitive army in 25 days. The most important one is the invisible political battlefield. As long as we win the political war, we will have a higher chance of winning the tangible war. Yang Dingtian said loudly, to be honest, what 200,000 allied troops, what 10 grandmasters and 1 great grandmaster by Qin Chichi's side? And what 3,000 blood pupil army? I don't really care about that. Qin Chichi's side has 9 grandmasters, so do we, Yang Dingtian said loudly. Of course, we have 5, 6, or even more. Qin Chichi's side has 1 great grandmaster, so do we, Yang Dingtian said loudly. As for their so-called army, 50,000? 100,000? Yang Dingtian sneered and said, I don't put them in my eyes. I can tell everyone clearly that we have an incomparably huge strength in our hands. It doesn't matter if they come with 100,000 or 200,000 men, we will annihilate their entire army. Their army can even touch the borders of Cloud Sky City. Shimen Lai, don't you think so? Have you prepared the things I asked you to prepare? Everything is ready, Shimen Lai said. How's the power? Yang Dingtian asked. Earth-shattering, Shimen Lai said. Yang Dingtian said, so, the most important thing for us is the political battlefield. We have to completely defeat Qin Chichi and the Ning clan of the South Sea. We have to expose their evil nature. We have to make all the factions on the fence stand on our side. We have to turn ourselves into the righteous side and our enemies into the evil side. We have to increase the number of our comrades. Evil ways will have no place in the Western world. This is the foundation of this war. Then, the key to this political war lies in 2 points, Yang Dingtian said loudly. First, the world society. We have to pull the world society to our side. Second, the northwest Qin city. We have to push Qin Huayu to the position of Qin City's young lord and completely kill Qin Chichi. Sect leader Qin Wanchou has no choice. As long as the world society and the northwest Qin City are united, the entire Western world will be completely united. The other small demons and ghosts won't be able to cause any waves. When Yang Dingtian said this, everyone was instantly excited. Like a gust of wind, the darkness in front of them was blown away. Chunhua, make some preparations. Qin Huayu and I will immediately accompany you to the World Society, Yang Dingtian said. This matter should not be delayed. Only by taking care of the World Society can we take care of the Northwest Qin City. Yes. Song Chunhua bowed. City Lord. Mu Lianqing said, according to our intelligence, the Metal Sword Fortress and Shimen-ju are holding a meeting and are planning to revolt. The meeting will be held tonight. That's great. Yang Dingtian laughed and said, to resist foreign aggression, we must first pacify our internal affairs. I was just worried that I wouldn't have the chance to eliminate these useless people. Tonight, we will make a trip to the Metal Sword Fortress and start a massacre. We will wipe out all the feudal vassals in the Cloud Heaven City territory. Yes, I will immediately prepare the troops. Shimen Lai said. No need. Yang Dingtian said, just the few of us will be enough to wipe them out. Yang Dingtian looked at Qin Huayu and said, Senior brother Qin, let's prepare to kill tonight. That would be great. I have been holding it in for the past few months. Qin Huayu sneered. Alright, let's eat. After eating, we will set off immediately, Yang Dingtian said. Right at this moment, someone suddenly shouted from outside, reporting to the city lord, the Mystic Heaven Sect's young lord, Zhu Hongxue, is here to visit. Chapter 428. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but frown. He didn't expect Zhu Hongxue to come. Of course, he might have been near Cloud Sky City all along, waiting for Yang Dingtian to appear. Even though his impression of Zhu Hongxue had changed greatly, Yang Dingtian still had a headache dealing with such a person. People like Zhu Hongxue were characterized by extreme pride and stubbornness. He came without a doubt because of Dongfang Bingling. On this point, Yang Dingtian had completely touched his reverse scale. Therefore, Yang Dingtian wasn't surprised at all by Zhu Hongxue's reaction. However, even if it was a headache, he still had to meet him. In the next 1 or 2 months, the Tiando League headquarters would discuss whether or not to expel Cloud Sky City. Regarding this, Black Sky Sect and Yin-Yang School's attitude was the most important. Of course, Zhu Qingzhu was already part of the evil ways, but Zhu Hongxue wasn't. Therefore, Zhu Hongxue's attitude was especially important. Yang Dingtian stood up and was about to personally welcome Zhu Hongxue. Boom! At this moment, a loud sound was heard. The door of the main hall was blown to pieces. Zhu Hongxue stood outside with a cold expression on his extremely handsome face. In the square, countless Cloud Sky City disciples gathered around and looked at Zhu Hongxue's back. Some of them were angry, but most of them were weak and looked up to him. Zhu Hongxue came to smash the door and slap their faces, but the Cloud Sky City disciples were still afraid and looked up to him. Yang Dingtian's heart was filled with sorrow and anger. All along, the Cloud Sky City disciples had always felt inferior in front of these famous sections. This was because Cloud Sky City had always been eyeing Yin-Yang School's rebellious reputation. Even though it was in the Tiando League, it didn't have a place in the 3 sects, 9 clans, and 27 branches. No matter where they went, they couldn't raise their heads when they met disciples from famous sections. Not to mention, in front of them was the famous genius, Zhu Hongxue, who was as famous as Dongfang Bingling. Therefore, Zhu Hongxue came to slap their faces. The first reaction of the disciples of Cloud Sky City was not anger or questioning, but fear and uneasiness. It was as if they had really done something shameful. Yang Dingtian, come here. Zhu Hongxue said coldly. I don't want to kill you in front of so many Cloud Sky City disciples. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian almost exploded with anger. He knew that Zhu Hongxue was annoying, but he didn't expect it to be to this extent. That kind of high and mighty attitude, as if calling for cats and dogs. This was not the Black Heaven sect. This was Cloud Sky City. Before Yang Dingtian could say anything, Song Chunhua was enraged. She drew her sword and was about to step forward to fight. Yang Dingtian gently pulled Song Chunhua to the side. He walked up to Zhu Hongxue and said indifferently, Zhu Hongxue, if you're here to discuss matters, then speak properly. Otherwise, scram. How dare you talk to me like that? You are courting death. Zhu Hongxue's face turned cold. When he said the last 2 words, there was a sudden gust of wind. The dust on the ground flew up, and the hall was like thunder. Outside, the thousands of Cloud Sky City disciples instinctively retreated. It wasn't that they were afraid of death, but they were instinctively afraid of Zhu Hongxue and felt inferior. In their eyes, Zhu Hongxue was the youth leader of the Tiando League. He even held the fate of Cloud Sky City in his hands. Of course, that was the truth. As for Cloud Sky City's position in the Tiando League, it was indeed up to people like Zhu Hongxue and Dongfang Bingling to decide. Therefore, during Yang Dingtian's ascension ceremony, Dongfang Bingling only appeared for a short while. All of Qin Huayu's actions, as well as those of Cloud Sky City's opposition, were silenced. They didn't dare to act rashly. This wouldn't do. The disciples of Cloud Sky City were too inferior. If this continued, they wouldn't be able to withstand the terrifying battle that was coming. Before the battle even started, their hearts would already collapse. They had to be given a spiritual sustenance, a powerful spiritual idol. Of course, this spiritual idol could only be Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian slowly took a few steps forward. He looked at Zhu Hongxue and said, I'll give you 2 choices. First, speak nicely. Put away your arrogance and don't appear to be so uncultured. Second, you and I have a good fight. Since you're uncultured, I'll help you educate yourself. Then, we can have a good talk. Yang Dingtian's words resounded throughout the entire Cloud Sky City. All of the Cloud Sky City disciples were shocked. Their city lord actually dared to speak to Zhu Hongxue like that. This was a complete humiliation. He was scolding Zhu Hongxue for being uncultured, so Yang Dingtian wanted to discipline him on behalf of his father. Instantly, Zhu Hongxue was enraged. "Bitch, you're courting death." His shout was like thunder. Then, a flame suddenly emerged from his body, burning fiercely. In an instant, the entire square was filled with a murderous aura. "Originally, I didn't want to humiliate you in front of everyone in Cloud Sky City. Who knew that a bitch like you would speak such arrogant words? You're completely seeking your own death." Zhu Hongxue roared. Then, he flew up into the air and pointed his sword at Yang Dingtian. "Come out. In front of all the Cloud Sky City disciples, I'll tear you into pieces. I'll let everyone see clearly that there are some people that you can't offend." Yang Dingtian pulled out his sword and flew out of the main hall. He was 100 meters away from Zhu Hongxue. Floating in the air, he looked at Zhu Hongxue and said coldly, "Your brain is really damaged. If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't be able to wake up for the rest of your life. Shut up. Don't provoke me into killing you and taking my anger out on others." Zhu Hongxue roared. "Trash like you doesn't have the qualifications to fight with me. Today, I'm giving you too much credit for fighting with me. If I can't kill you in one move, it'll be a disgrace to me. Kill me in one move." Yang Dingtian laughed loudly. "Zhu Hongxue, you'll regret what you said for the rest of your life. Then, I also swear that if I can't defeat you in 3 moves, you can do whatever you want to me." Ha ha ha. Zhu Hongxue was so angry that he burst into laughter. He only felt that this world was incomparably ridiculous. There was actually an ant that said that he could defeat him in 3 moves. "Yang Dingtian, you took advantage of the opportunity to obtain the position of Cloud Sky City's lord. You've become so arrogant that you've lost your sense of measure." Zhu Hongxue laughed loudly. "If you want to destroy someone, you have to make them crazy first. If it weren't for Bing Ling, you wouldn't even have the qualifications to talk to me, let alone fight with me. You despicable opportunist. Do you know that if you fight with me, even if you die, it'll be enough for your name to spread throughout the world? Now, you actually dare to say that you can defeat me. In the younger generation of the world, other than Bing Ling, no one is my opponent. Even the dead Shiman Wuya wouldn't dare to say that you can defeat me in 3 moves." Yang Dingtian couldn't help but be speechless. This Zhu Hongxue was actually arrogant to such an extent? Shiman Wuya's absolute strength was someone who surpassed his father, Zhu Qingzhu. It could be said that in today's world, other than the mysterious Wulingzi, no one was Shiman Wuya's opponent. Judging from Zhu Hongxue's tone, he actually didn't even think highly of Shiman Wuya. Instantly, Yang Dingtian looked at Zhu Hongxue quietly and said indifferently, "Come, make your move and kill me instantly. It's time for you, this proud son of heaven, to wake up." Zhu Hongxue's gaze focused. He held the soul sword in his hand, condensed his celestial qi, and condensed his celestial fire. Boom! The raging flames instantly rose by several feet. Zhu Hongxue's sharp sword and his entire person were burning fiercely. He was already extremely handsome and was listed as the most handsome man in the world. At this moment, he was even more like a god of war descending. The eyes of all the Cloud Sky City disciples were filled with fear, admiration, and incomparable worry. They didn't think that Yang Dingtian would be Zhu Hongxue's opponent at all. Although their city lord had created countless miracles, he was at most a beginner-level martial honorable. It was impossible for him to be Zhu Hongxue's opponent. He didn't even have the qualifications to fight. Although they stood on Yang Dingtian's side, they completely agreed with Zhu Hongxue's words. Even their hearts were deeply pierced by it. The highest leader of Cloud Sky City, their leader, was actually only a beginner-level martial honorable. In the past, they could still use Yang Dingtian's young age to hypnotize themselves. However, Zhu Hongshue's appearance directly pierced through the weakest part of their hearts. Their city lord was so weak and Cloud Sky City was in such a critical situation. Could Yang Dingtian lead Cloud Sky City to become stronger? Or, not to mention becoming stronger, could Yang Dingtian protect Cloud Sky City? The answer was a complete no. No matter how talented Yang Dingtian was, he was still a martial honorable. No one would wait for him to become stronger. To an ordinary person, a martial honorable was already strong enough. However, to a leader of a sect, there was nothing weaker than this. In an instant, the hearts of the Cloud Sky City disciples became even more inferior and weak. The morale that Yang Dingtian's heroic words had previously boosted was like a soap bubble that had burst. The mysterious flame of Zhu Hongshue's soul sword had already burned to the extreme. Yang Dingtian, this is a peerless soul sword. This is a heaven and earth level mysterious flame. To be able to die under my sword is enough for you to live in glory for the rest of your life, Zhu Hongxue shouted and slashed out with the sharp sword in his hand. Boom! There was no mysterious technique or any fancy moves. It was just the most direct sword radiance that was mixed with the energy of the mysterious flame. However, it was already earth-shattering enough to blind everyone. This sword radiance was like lightning that tore the sky apart. It was like a ray of light that shot down from the ninth heaven. In an instant, it streaked across the sky a few thousand meters above the square of Cloud Sky City. It completely blocked out the brilliance of the sun and illuminated the sky above Cloud Sky City. The people in the square were unable to see anything. Then, this earth-shattering sword radiance suddenly shot towards Yang Dingtian. Almost instantly, Yang Dingtian's body was completely swallowed up. In an instant, all the disciples in the square of Cloud Sky City closed their eyes. Their hearts were filled with despair and they did not dare to look anymore. This was because there was only one ending in their hearts. Their governor's body was smashed into pieces and turned into ashes. After slashing out the sword radiance, Zhu Hongxue kept his sword and stood there without looking. He glanced at the densely packed crowd on the ground as if he was looking at ants. He said disdainfully, "From now on, there will be no more Yang Dingtian in this world." After saying this, Zhu Hongxue turned around and was about to leave. Zhu Hongxue, your high and mighty face is truly disgusting. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's casual voice echoed in everyone's ears. In an instant, everyone was shocked and looked up into the sky in disbelief. Their governor actually did not die. Their governor actually did not die under Zhu Hongshue's earth-shattering attack. One must know that their governor was only a beginner revered martial artist while Zhu Hongxue was infinitely close to becoming a martial scholar. After hearing Yang Dingtian's words, Zhu Hongxue suddenly trembled and turned around in disbelief. The radiance gradually dimmed and Yang Dingtian was still floating in the air. Not to mention being seriously injured, he was completely unharmed. How is this possible? Zhu Hongxue hissed, "Impossible. How could you not die from my attack? What kind of treasure did you get this time?" Previously, Yang Dingtian thought that under Zhu Hongshue's arrogance, he had a righteous character and was worth roping in as an ally. Now, Yang Dingtian began to doubt this point. Because, although this person had a prideful character, he was too arrogant and could not tolerate others being stronger than him. In the entire world, he only had Dongfang Bingling in his eyes. If others were stronger than him, then they must have obtained some treasure through despicable means, and definitely not through their own strength. You are really hopeless. Yang Dingtian said lightly, "Now, it's my turn." Is that a peerless soul sword? Yang Dingtian said lightly, "Mine is also a soul sword. Every strand of it was personally forged by me. As for its grade, I don't know. I can only tell you that if there is an emperor-grade soul sword in the world, it is mine." Yang Dingtian held the soul sword in his hand. Suddenly, his soul sword shot out rays of light. Powerful, golden and noble rays of light burst out of the entire Cloud Sky City square. This light was almost exactly the same as the sun. It was as if the sun was shining on the entire Cloud Sky City. Countless Cloud Sky City disciples were mesmerized by this ray of light. They looked up at Cloud Sky City in the sky and suddenly felt an urge to worship it. You said the heaven and earth obsidian flame. Yang Dingtian said lightly, your obsidian flame is called the thunderous flame, right? It is ranked 8th among the 9 obsidian flames in the world. Yang Dingtian stretched out his left hand. Suddenly, a flame floated to his palm. It was beautiful and mysterious. Even the light of the soul sword could not suppress it. Didn't anyone tell you that my obsidian flame is also a heaven and earth obsidian flame? The million spirit demon flame is ranked 6th in the world. Or is it because your brain and eyes can't tolerate anything else? Yang Dingtian said lightly. Looking at the million spirit demon flame in Yang Dingtian's palm, Zhu Hongshue's face started to twitch. The moment he obtained the great thunderous flame, his confidence had swelled immeasurably. He knew that there were other heaven and earth obsidian flames, but he felt that these obsidian flames were either waiting for him to collect them or only people like Dongfang Bingling would have them. A lowly person like Yang Dingtian had a heaven and earth obsidian flame? What a joke! A heaven and earth obsidian flame would choose its owner. How could a person like Yang Dingtian be worthy of it? Then, Yang Dingtian grasped the soul sword in his right hand. Whoosh! Suddenly, an even more beautiful flame with constantly changing colors emerged from the soul sword. Not only do I have a heaven and earth obsidian flame, but I also have more than one, Yang Dingtian said lightly, this one is called the demon spirit demon flame. It is also a heaven and earth obsidian flame. It is ranked 4th among the 9 flames in the world. Zhu Hongxue, put away your arrogant face. Yang Dingtian said lightly, not only am I the Lord of Cloud Heaven City, but I am also the successor of the Yin-Yang school. I am the only successor of Dongfang Minmi. In terms of status and background, I am not inferior to you at all. And for a man, the most important thing is ideals and strength. Ideals, I will talk to you later. Now, I want to talk to you about strength. Yang Dingtian said lightly, previously, I said that I would defeat you in 3 moves. Now, I regret my words. I take them back. When Yang Dingtian said this, everyone's expression changed slightly. I have changed my words. You are worse than I thought. Yang Dingtian said, then, I will change my words. I will defeat you in 1 move. If I can't do it, then I will be at your mercy. When these words came out, everyone in Cloud Heaven City was shocked. Defeat Zhu Hongxue in 1 move. Oh my god. How could it be? Zhu Hongxue was infinitely close to becoming a master. If their city lord could defeat Zhu Hongxue in 1 move, how powerful would that be? Zhu Hongxue was already shocked by the fact that Yang Dingtian had 2 obsidian flames. He was already going crazy and was on the verge of collapsing. At this moment, he heard Yang Dingtian say that he would defeat him in 1 move. Instantly, his fighting spirit soared to the heavens. Yang Dingtian, I don't know what despicable means you used to obtain 2 obsidian flames. Just like how you used Bing Ling's identity to obtain many things that you shouldn't have. But now, you are saying that you will defeat me in 1 move. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Zhu Hongxue laughed and said, don't even mention 1 move. Even if it's 10 or 100 moves, you can forget about defeating me. Then, I will also swear that as long as you can defeat me, I will be at your mercy right here in Cloud Heaven City's plaza. Yang Dingtian looked at him and said indifferently, I won't kill you or cut you. If I say that I will defeat you in 1 move, then I will do it in 1 move. Chapter 429. Zhu Hongxue had absolute confidence in his thunderous dark fire shield. Apart from the lightning element, it could withstand all kinds of energy damage, including the dark fire. Therefore, so what if young Dingtian displayed two heaven and earth mystic flames? He still could not break through his thunderous shield. Moreover, Zhu Hongxue did not think that young Dingtian had the so-called lightning element talent. Even if he did, it would be from the dark talisman of the lightning element. It was impossible for him to defeat Zhu Hongxue with that little bit of lightning energy. It could be said that Zhu Hongxue had slightly awakened from his rage and shock. He felt that although young Dingtian had somehow obtained two heaven and earth dark fires, there was still a huge gap between him and Zhu Hongxue in terms of cultivation. Zhu Hongxue calmed down even more after he thought this through. Although the dark fire was important to a person's strength, cultivation was more important. If young Dingtian wanted to defeat Zhu Hongxue, he would have to surpass Zhu Hongxue in terms of cultivation. It was absolutely impossible for Zhu Hongxue to do so. In his mind, young Dingtian might have some talent and had obtained some treasures by luck. Therefore, he might have broken through a lot in just a few years. For example, he might have broken through dozens of levels because of the Yin-Yang festival. However, this kind of luck would end at the martial revered level. It would be a battle of talent and wisdom if one went beyond that. Therefore, it was impossible for Zhu Hongxue to think that Yang Dingtian's cultivation had reached his level. Yang Dingtian's attack was very fast. It could even be said that it was an understatement. His left hand gently flung out a blue halo. Then, his right hand directly slashed out a golden sword light. Zhu Hongxue saw this and smiled coldly. It was impossible for him to break through Zhu Hongxue's thunderous shield and defeat Zhu Hongxue with this little bit of energy. However, Zhu Hongxue was instantly horrified. Almost instantly, he felt that he could not move at all. His entire body seemed to have been completely frozen and imprisoned. This was because a mysterious blue energy body had sealed him in an instant. All the dark chi stopped, the thunderous fire was extinguished, and the thunderous shield disappeared. At the same time, young Dingtian slashed out a golden sword light. Like lightning, it directly hit his chest. Pooh! Fresh blood spurted out. Zhu Hongxue's body was sent flying like a piece of straw. Ah! Everyone cried out in surprise, looking at all this in disbelief. This included Madame Shimen, the other members of Cloud Sky City's Elders Guild, and even Shimen Yanyan and Qin Jiaojiao. Yanyan loved young Dingtian the most and had full confidence in him. He knew that young Dingtian would never make irresponsible remarks, but in his heart, he absolutely did not dare to believe that young Dingtian's cultivation was superior to Zhu Hongxue's. Yanyan was very clear about her husband's cultivation. He was only a beginner martial honorable. He had only left home for 2 months, and at that time, his cultivation progress was already very slow. Therefore, in Yanyan's heart, Yang Dingtian's cultivation was at most a 3-star martial honor. Of course, almost all the members of Cloud Sky City's Elders Guild thought the same. Therefore, although they believed that young Dingtian would not make irresponsible remarks, they still did not dare to imagine that young Dingtian could defeat Zhu Hongxue in one move. As for the many disciples of Cloud Sky City, when young Dingtian received Zhu Hongxue's attack and came out unscathed, their minds had already gone numb. At this moment, they saw that their own city lord had actually defeated Zhu Hongxue in one move. Extreme shock, in an instant, caused their minds to lose all sense of feeling. It was as if their entire bodies were floating, and they felt that it was completely unreal. Even if it was a dream, even if it was a fantasy, they did not dare to imagine such an outcome. The high and mighty Zhu Hongxue had actually been defeated by City Lord Yang Dingtian in one move. Of course, everyone's shock added together could not compare to Zhu Hongxue's. The moment he was sent flying and spat out blood, it was as if a bomb had directly exploded in Zhu Hongxue's mind. Then, his mind went completely blank, and he lost all sense of feeling. In fact, he could not even feel the shock anymore. To Zhu Hongxue, he would rather believe that the world had been destroyed, that the sun rose from the west, than believe that Yang Dingtian could defeat him in one move. Therefore, for a moment, the entire Cloud Sky City Square was dead silent. Zhu Hongxue's mind was completely blank. After a full 15 minutes, all his emotions, all his feelings, crazily surged into his mind. His world had collapsed, and his mind had collapsed. His extreme pride, his extreme conceit, and his entire worldview. He had almost completely collapsed. Then, almost instinctively, Zhu Hongxue roared, "Yang Dingtian, what kind of sorcery did you use? You caused your Bingling's death, what kind of sorcery did you get?" Yang Dingtian could not help but be stunned. He really did not expect Zhu Hongxue to have such a reaction. He actually linked it to sorcery. Seeing Yang Dingtian's reaction, Zhu Hongxue seemed to have grasped at a life-saving straw. He roared, "Yes, what kind of sorcery did you get? You must have gotten some sorcery. Otherwise, you could not have defeated me. My talent is unparalleled in the world. In just 3 years, you could not have defeated me. Even if the world was turned upside down, it would still be impossible." Then, Zhu Hongxue suddenly jumped up and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His face was distorted as he said, "Yang Dingtian, what sorcery did you use? What sorcery did you use?" Once these words were spoken, everyone in the Cloud Sky City Square could not help but reveal a strange expression. This was because Zhu Hongxue's defeat was too strange. It was almost inexplicable, and no one could see the entire process. Yang Dingtian defeating Zhu Hongxue in one move, of course, they wanted it to happen even in their dreams. But when it really happened, this feeling was too unreal. "Yang Dingtian, what sorcery did you use? Your cultivation is far inferior to mine. What sorcery did you use?" Zhu Hongxue said sternly, "You must tell me, or else I will let the Tiando League punish you." Yang Dingtian looked at Zhu Hongxue and shook his head lightly, "Zhu Hongxue, you really disappoint people." Then, Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, "All right, I will give you one last chance to be convinced. You and I will not use mystic flames, mystic skills, or anything else. Just a clash of strength, a clash of mystic chi. Do you dare?" "Dare? Why wouldn't I dare? My cultivation is far superior to yours. Why wouldn't I dare?" Zhu Hongxue said loudly. "No mystic skills, no mystic flames, just a clash of swords, a clash of mystic chi." Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and instantly gathered all the mystic chi in his body. Boom! All the mystic chi in Yang Dingtian's body suddenly exploded. Suddenly, there was a thunderous sound in the air. Then, the sharp sword in his hand suddenly bloomed with a dazzling light. Zhu Hongxue's eyes were scarlet red. He suddenly gathered all the mystic chi in his body. Bang! There was also a loud sound. The mystic chi suddenly exploded. "Kill! Kill!" The two of them shouted at the same time. Then, like meteors, they shot out. The two figures directly turned into a stream of light. Because their speed was too fast, they immediately dragged out a long sharp light shadow. They tore through the air and made a whistling sound. In an instant, the two figures were like meteors. They fiercely collided. Like Mars colliding with Earth, they fiercely collided. This was the most direct collision. There was no technique, no mystic skills, and no mystic flames. It was purely a clash of strength, speed, mystic chi, and willpower. Boom! There was a loud sound. The sound of two fierce energies colliding. The sound of two swords fiercely colliding. Everyone felt a sharp pain in their ears. Their hearts suddenly jumped, as if their chests were about to split open. Pfft! Zhu Hongxue's body fiercely flew out. In the air, he violently spat out a mouthful of blood. Yang Dingtian, on the other hand, only trembled slightly. There was no reaction at all. Zhu Hongxue was defeated again. He was completely defeated. Of course, Yang Dingtian had a reaction. Blood rolled over his chest. The mystic meridians in his body seemed to be broken inch by inch. His internal organs seemed to have been displaced. There was a sweet taste in his throat. He almost spat out a mouthful of blood. However, he forced it back and swallowed it. It was not that he cared about his face. He wanted to completely subdue Zhu Hongxue. Because he really wanted to win Zhu Hongxue over. That was why he agreed to have such a naked mystic chi fight with him. Otherwise, Yang Dingtian's trump card was much stronger than Zhu Hongxue's. If he fought with Yang Dingtian directly, he would be at a disadvantage. Yang Dingtian's Sea of Qi cultivation was at the level of a 2-star grandmaster. However, because he did not learn the 4th stage of the pig-slaying swordsmanship, he could only display the standard of a 9-star 9th grade revered martial artist. This level of mystic qi was exactly the same as Zhu Hongxue's. Therefore, Yang Dingtian did not have much of an advantage in a direct mystic qi fight. Of course, Yang Dingtian still won in the end. Zhu Hongxue was still defeated. Because Yang Dingtian's soul sword had an almost heaven-defying mystic qi boost. Also, because Yang Dingtian had 9 young mystic meridians and had been modified by Naga's mystic meridians, his resistance to attacks was higher than Zhu Hongxue's. Therefore, Zhu Hongxue was sent flying and spat out a mouthful of blood. Because of these reasons, although the two of them had the same cultivation, one won and one lost. Moreover, because Yang Dingtian endured the immense pain, the situation seemed to be one-sided. After a long while, Yang Dingtian suppressed the blood in his chest and dared to speak. Otherwise, he would have spat out blood the moment he opened his mouth. Zhu Hongxue, that was a naked mystic qi fight, right? What else do you have to say? Do you admit defeat? Yang Dingtian said coldly. At this moment, Zhu Hongxue's face was pale. His entire face was filled with bewilderment. His pupils were almost unfocused. After hearing Yang Dingtian's words, he spat out another mouthful of blood. He raised the sword in his hand with a blank face. Then, he realized that a hole had appeared on the soul sword that he was so proud of. His indestructible soul sword, actually had a crack. Yang Dingtian's soul sword had actually slashed out a crack. At this moment, he had no reason to lie to himself. Yang Dingtian did not use any demonic techniques. He had directly used mystic qi to fight. He had also lost. Because a reality had appeared in front of him. Yang Dingtian's cultivation had surpassed his. His cultivation was a 9-star 9th grade revered martial artist. He was only half a step away from Grandmaster. And Yang Dingtian had easily defeated him. That meant that his cultivation had definitely broken through to Grandmaster. Dongfang Bingling had broken through to Grandmaster. Zhu Hongxue would only feel proud and honored. Because he had long regarded Dongfang Bingling as his destined wife. The stronger Dongfang Bingling was, the happier he was. Because he had conquered the most beautiful and powerful woman in the world. Yang Dingtian was his rival in love. Of course, Zhu Hongxue did not think so. He thought that the gap between him and Yang Dingtian was like heaven and earth. Just like a toad and a swan, he had never put Yang Dingtian in his eyes. He could crush Yang Dingtian to death with just a finger. Now, this ant was actually stronger than him. He had a better mystic fire than him. He had more mystic fire than him. He had a better sword than him. Even his cultivation was stronger than him. That meant that his talent and mystic meridians were stronger than him. To Zhu Hongxue, this was completely earth-shattering. His pride had completely collapsed. His view of the world had completely collapsed. Moreover, Yang Dingtian had only been practicing martial arts for 3 years. He was only 22 years old this year. He was much younger than him. Zhu Hongxue, are you convinced now? Yang Dingtian asked coldly. Zhu Hongxue looked up at Yang Dingtian in a daze. The other party's voice seemed to ring in his heart, but also seemed to ring out from beyond the 9 heavens. Am I not that outstanding at all? Zhu Hongxue opened his mouth and muttered to himself. Am I very ordinary to begin with? It's just that everyone is trying to coax me because of my identity. Am I completely useless? Am I not worthy of Bingling at all? Then what's the point of living? Yang Dingtian, you don't have to do it. I'll do it myself. Zhu Hongxue kept muttering to himself. Then, he suddenly raised his hand and struck his chest. He committed suicide in front of everyone. No. Yang Dingtian was horrified. He really didn't think that Zhu Hongxue would commit suicide in front of everyone. He thought that he would continue to quibble, continue to hypnotize, and continue to frame him. He didn't think that he would directly commit suicide. With the fastest speed, Yang Dingtian suddenly released the Devil Spirit Fiend Flame's icebound technique. However, Yang Dingtian was still a step slower. Because his profound veins were severely injured, the Devil Spirit Fiend Flame's icebound technique became slower and weaker. Zhu Hongxue's palm struck his own chest. Everyone clearly saw that his chest suddenly caved in, and then a mouthful of blood spurted out. Ah! Everyone let out a cry of surprise. But in the end, Yang Dingtian still used the icebound technique to freeze all of his movements and profound veins when he hit his chest. Then, Yang Dingtian quickly rushed over, took out 2 sacred water pills, and directly stuffed them into Zhu Hongxue's mouth. Then, he sat cross-legged behind Zhu Hongxue and desperately poured in his profound qi to circulate the medicinal power. Chunhua, quickly come over and move us into the room, Yang Dingtian said. Yes. Song Chunhua said. Then, she flew over and moved Yang Dingtian into the building. All disciples of Cloud Sky City, your performance just now disappointed me, Yang Dingtian said coldly as he healed Zhu Hongxue. All of you, kneel down. Suddenly, all the disciples in the plaza trembled and then knelt down in an orderly manner. All of you kneel like this. Think carefully about what you did wrong just now. Yang Dingtian said coldly. Wait, I will come over and ask. If you don't know what you did wrong, then kneel for me forever. Yes. The few thousand people in the plaza answered in unison and knelt on the ground in an orderly manner. Song Chunhua moved Yang Dingtian and entered the building. Qin Huayu and the rest also followed in. The door of the building was closed. The plaza outside was completely silent. The few thousand people were kneeling in an orderly manner to reflect. Yang Dingtian crazily channeled celestial qi into Zhu Hongxue's body, urging his extremely weak vitality to circulate. This crazy Zhu Hongxue had not only shattered all of his ribs, he had also shattered his own heart. Luckily, Yang Dingtian used the ice seal technique to freeze him. Otherwise, his heart and internal organs would have turned into a pile of mush and he would have died a long time ago. But even so, he was only a hair's breadth away from death. In other words, if Yang Dingtian hadn't given him the sacred water elixir at the first moment, he would have died long ago. He was actually so resolute in committing suicide. Of course, even if Yang Dingtian tried his best to save him, Zhu Hongxue was still lingering on the edge of death and could die at any time. That vitality was really weak to the extreme. At this moment, his entire body's functions had completely stopped. Therefore, the flow of vitality was completely dependent on Yang Dingtian's celestial qi. At this moment, Yang Dingtian was about to race against Zhu Hongxue's death god. If he could outrun him, he could let the sacred water elixir's medicinal power gradually recover his body's organs. If he couldn't outrun him, Zhu Hongxue would undoubtedly die. Time flew by quickly. 15 minutes. 30 minutes. 1 hour. 2 hours. Yang Dingtian's face became paler and paler, and his body trembled more and more. His celestial qi was already exhausted. Originally, his celestial meridians were already damaged from Zhu Hongshue's last attack. At this moment, he didn't have a large amount of celestial qi to heal Zhu Hongshue's injuries. Qin Huayu, come to my back and inject celestial qi. My celestial qi is exhausted. Yang Dingtian said. Just as he finished speaking, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Immediately, the celestial qi circulating in Zhu Hongshue's body stopped. Almost at the same time, Zhu Hongshue's body trembled, and he was about to die in an instant. Yang Dingtian used all his strength to inject the last of his celestial qi. Yes. Qin Huayu flew over quickly and placed his palm on Yang Dingtian's back, injecting thick celestial qi. Why didn't he let Qin Huayu directly inject celestial qi into Zhu Hongxue? Because his celestial qi had impurities. If it directly entered Zhu Hongshue's body, Zhu Hongxue might not be able to withstand it. His celestial meridians weren't as strong as Yang Dingtian's. After passing through Yang Dingtian's body, he could use the yin-yang qi transformation technique to turn it into pure celestial qi. Qin Huayu was a master stage expert. Another 2 hours passed. 3 hours. Qin Huayu's celestial qi was completely exhausted. However, Zhu Hongxue still couldn't be saved, and he was still hovering on the edge of death. Chunhua, you take over. Yang Dingtian said, Qin Huayu, take the profound gathering pill and recover your celestial qi as quickly as possible. Yes. Qin Huayu said. Song Chunhua quickly sat behind Yang Dingtian and placed his palm on Yang Dingtian's back, injecting celestial qi. Qin Huayu took the opportunity to leave Yang Dingtian's back, then took a profound gathering pill and sat cross-legged to quickly condense celestial qi. City Lord Yang, can you save him? Song Chunhua asked. I don't know. It's a race against death. Yang Dingtian said, if we still can't save him after exhausting all of our celestial qi, then he can't be saved. Even if we can't save him, he's courting death. Zhu Qingzhu can't blame us. Song Chunhua said. I didn't save him because of Zhu Qingzhu. I saved him because of Zhu Hongxue. Yang Dingtian said, we didn't misjudge him. Although he's extremely conceited, he's still upright. If he can become our comrade, our chances of winning will be much higher. His martial arts talent is much higher than yours and Qin Huayu's. He and Bingling are almost the only 2 9th-grade celestial vein geniuses. Yes. Song Chunhua said, then we'll do our best. Song Chunhua's cultivation was a 2-star master stage expert, so she lasted longer than Qin Huayu. However, she only lasted for 4 hours. Zhu Hongxue still couldn't be saved. Qin Huayu, you take over. I'll go recover my celestial qi. Song Chunhua said. Okay. Qin Huayu said. Then, he immediately placed his palm on Yang Dingtian's back and transferred his celestial qi. Song Chunhua quickly moved to the side and swallowed a mystic gathering pill, desperately absorbing celestial qi. A full 10 hours later. Yang Dingtian had almost given up hope. Qin Huayu and Song Chunhua had already taken 2 mystic gathering pills, which had already damaged their celestial veins. Suddenly, the vitality in Zhu Hongshue's body stopped and began to circulate on its own. His life was saved. His life was finally saved. Yang Dingtian and the other 2 had almost used all of their strength to save his life. Yang Dingtian's heart relaxed and he removed his palm from Zhu Hongshue's back. Pfft. He couldn't help but spit a mouthful of blood on the back of Zhu Hongshue's neck. Zhu Hongshue's body suddenly trembled, as if he had been woken up by Yang Dingtian's hot blood. He opened his eyes. Then, he didn't say anything. He just sat there quietly, as if he had lost his reaction to everything. Yang Dingtian gently wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and struggled to stand up. He came to the chair and sat down. He looked at Zhu Hongxue and said, now, are you quiet? Zhu Hongxue nodded slightly. It's good that you're quiet. I can tell you what I want to say next. Yang Dingtian said indifferently, you're here to ask me about Bing Ling, right? Zhu Hongxue nodded. You're also very curious as to why I saved you, right? Yang Dingtian asked. Zhu Hongxue still nodded. I'll answer your second question first, then I'll answer your first question, okay? Yang Dingtian said. Zhu Hongxue still nodded. The reason why I saved you is not because I'm afraid of your father, but because of something that happened before, which made me recognize you again. I hated you before, but after that incident, I have some admiration for you. So I saved you because I admire your arrogance, but your upright and prideful character. Of course, there's also your almost unparalleled talent. I want to be your comrade in arms in life and death. I want you to become the pillar that saves the world. Yang Dingtian said indifferently, I want to fulfill your true pride and fulfill your immortal life. I want to one day, when I'm in battle, I can leave my back to you without hesitation and entrust my life and death to you. Suddenly, Qin Huayu's body shook violently. He looked at Yang Dingtian in disbelief. Chapter 430. What about Bing Ling? Zhu Hongxue asked after a long time. Yang Dingtian was silent for a moment, then said, before I answer your question, can I answer one of yours first? Okay. Zhu Hongxue said. In your heart, is Bing Ling more important, or is the Taekwondo League more important? Yang Dingtian asked. What do you mean? Zhu Hongxue asked. You don't have to know what I mean, just answer me. Yang Dingtian said. Zhu Hongxue fell into deep thought, then said, Bing Ling is more important. Instantly, Yang Dingtian was stunned, and so were the others. Yang Dingtian asked in disbelief, if you were to make a choice, one is Bing Ling's death, the other is evil ways completely destroying the world. Which would you choose? Zhu Hongxue was silent for a moment, then said, evil ways should completely destroy the world. Instantly, Yang Dingtian was even more shocked. This Zhu Hongxue was not only conceited, but he was also an extreme romantic. But, if evil ways took over the world, where would Bing Ling and you be safe? Yang Dingtian said. The world is so big, where can I go? Evil ways can't control every inch of land. Zhu Hongxue said. Yang Dingtian saw that he was being so negative, and couldn't help but be angry. Zhu Hongxue, where are your ambitions? You're the youth leader of the Taekwondo League, the idol of the world, and the future leader of the Black Heaven sect. Where's your pride? Zhu Hongxue said, in the past, I might have been the leader of the world's youth, the idol of the world. But after the battle with you, I've become a disgrace. Wherever I go, I can't raise my head. What's the point of talking about pride and ambition? Yang Dingtian was speechless. Previously, he thought that in order to convince Zhu Hongxue, he had to hurt him. Otherwise, he would be too arrogant and conceited. He had to completely destroy his pride in order to subdue him. Who would have thought that he would actually walk to the other extreme? He actually went from extreme conceit and pride to extreme depression. He even wished he could change his appearance and never appear in front of the world again. Sigh. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but sigh. Perhaps Zhu Qingzhu had protected him too well, or perhaps his life had been too smooth, so he couldn't bear such a huge setback. Where's Bing Ling? Zhu Hongxue asked again. She's not dead, Yang Dingtian said. She's in the hands of the Temple of Annihilation. Zhu Hongxue suddenly stood up and looked at Yang Dingtian. Then why are you still sitting here? Why aren't you going to save her? If you're not going, I'll go. After saying that, he actually wanted to rush out. Sit down. Yang Dingtian shouted. Then, Yang Dingtian had a headache. Previously, he had great hopes for Zhu Hongxue. He hoped that he could become the right-hand man to resist the evil ways and become Yang Dingtian's strongest ally. But now, it seemed that his mentality was too immature. Not to mention Qin Huayu and Song Chunhua, he was even worse than the little princess Vulture. The little girl Vulture was naive and didn't have a bottom line. Her thinking often went off the rails. She couldn't control her own thoughts and wanted everything she saw. But in fact, the little girl was very smart and even very intelligent. In this team, young Ding Tian didn't have to spend too much effort to take care of her. She could even make a huge contribution to the team. But this Zhu Hongshua's mentality was too immature. After being defeated by young Ding Tian, his mentality had completely collapsed. And basically, he had no reaction to saving the world. There was only Dongfang Bingling in his mind. Originally, young Ding Tian wanted to tell him about Zhu Qingzhu. But now, this thought was completely dispelled. There were probably only two people in this handsome guy's mind. One was his father, whom he was proud of, and the other was Dongfang Bingling, whom he adored. Facing such an immature Zhu Hongxue, young Ding Tian was really at his wit's end. Zhu Hongxue, sit down, okay? Young Ding Tian said helplessly. I haven't finished speaking. Can you at least finish listening to everything about Bingling? Hurry up and say it. Zhu Hongxue looked at young Ding Tian with a burning gaze. His whole mind was immersed in the name of Dongfang Bingling. First of all, Dongfang Bingling's real master is Nihility Piao Ling, the leader of the hidden sect. Young Ding Tian said. After hearing this, Zhu Hongshue's body shook. His eyes lit up and his handsome face was filled with pride. Young Ding Tian was really speechless. Dongfang Bingling's master was the leader of the hidden sect. What did it have to do with Zhu Hongxue? Was there a need for him to be so excited and proud? So, Dongfang Bingling is the future leader of the hidden sect and the leader of the Tiando League. Young Ding Tian saw that Zhu Hongshue's face was so red that it was glowing. Young Ding Tian immediately stopped. You should have heard about the love between the leader of the Temple of Annihilation, Wan Wentian, and Nihility Piao Ling, right? Young Ding Tian asked. Zhu Hongxue nodded. Everyone in the world knew about this. It could be said that if it wasn't for the fact that Nihility Piao Ling was Wan Wentian's only love, the Tiando League wouldn't have been able to win the War of Extinction 200 years ago. So, even if Nihility Piao Ling and Wan Wentian had a love affair, it didn't affect Nihility Piao Ling's greatness. Now, the young master of the Temple of Annihilation, Li Ming, has come to the world because of the love between the previous leaders of the Temple of Annihilation and the leader of the hidden sect. So, the young master of the Temple of Annihilation, Li Ming, has always regarded Dongfang Bingling as his exclusive property. He thinks that he is Bingling's only man. Young Ding Tian said. Dream on, is he worthy? Zhu Hongxue was furious. He suddenly pulled out his sword and shouted, I'll cut that bastard into pieces. Young Ding Tian was speechless. Luckily, he didn't say that he and Bingling had already become husband and wife. Otherwise, Zhu Hongxue would have immediately pulled out his sword. You also know that after the misunderstanding between me and junior sister Dongfang was resolved, our relationship improved a lot. Especially in the Dongli grassland, I accidentally saved her life. So, after returning to the northwest continent, junior sister Dongfang repeatedly helped me. Young Ding Tian carefully worded his words. He was afraid that he would say that his relationship with Bingling was too intimate and trigger Zhu Hongshue's sensitive mind. After hearing this, Zhu Hongshue's expression didn't look too good, but he still nodded in agreement. However, this still angered the young master of the Temple of Annihilation, Li Ming. He regarded junior sister Dongfang as his exclusive property and didn't allow her to have any contact with other men. Junior sister Dongfang helped me, so he saw it as a betrayal. So, he ordered his lackeys to release the Soul Eater Devil on Bingling. Young Ding Tian said. After hearing this, Zhu Hongxue flew into a rage. He clenched his teeth and hissed, I'll kill him, I'll kill him, I'll tear him into pieces. Shameless, despicable, lowly bastard, he's worse than a dog or a pig. How dare he touch Bingling? Yang Dingtian finally understood why Zhu Hongxue kept on calling them lowly creatures that were inferior to pigs and dogs. In his eyes, other than Zhu Hongxue, all men were lowly bastards. In this world, only he was worthy of Bingling. They were a match made in heaven. The lackeys who released the Soul-Eater Devil on Bingling came from the Ning clan of the South Sea. Yang Dingtian said. Suddenly, Zhu Hongxue's eyes flashed. He was sure that he would fight the Ning clan of the South Sea to the death. Have you heard of the Soul-Eater Devil? Yang Dingtian asked. Zhu Hongxue nodded and said, I've heard of the Soul-Eater Xian energy. Once you're hit by it, you'll become a bloodthirsty demon. Yang Dingtian said, the Soul-Eater Devil was modified by Wan Wentian based on the Soul-Eater Xian energy. Once you're hit by the Soul-Eater Devil, you'll become a succubus within a month at most. You'll lose your will and your entire body will be controlled by the Temple of Annihilation. You can probably imagine the consequences. Zhu Hongxue's face instantly turned red. Thinking that Bingling might become a succubus and fall into the hands of the Temple of Annihilation's young master, Li Ming, Zhu Hongxue's heart ached. He didn't dare to imagine that scene, that ending. Yang Dingtian continued, Junior sister Dongfang was framed by the shameless Li Ming because of me, so I had to find the antidote for her. So, I found the person who used the Soul-Eater Devil on junior sister Dongfang. He was the young master of the Ning clan of the South Sea, Ning Yu. He was already dead, but the Temple of Annihilation injected evil energy into him and revived him. I heard that he was in Sky Demon City. So, junior sister Dongfang and I went to Sky Demon City to find Ning Yu to save her. And then? Zhu Hongxue asked. Ning Yu's heart was complicated, and he regretted it. He told me how to save her, but in exchange, I had to save the Ning clan of the South Sea from the Temple of Annihilation. Yang Dingtian said, now, junior sister Dongfang can be saved. Zhu Hongxue's face immediately lit up with joy. But at that time, the bastard son of the Ning clan of the South Sea, Ning Wuming, the most vicious dog of the Temple of Annihilation's young master, sent 4 elders to kill me and Bingling. They wanted to capture Bingling and offer her to the young master of the Temple of Annihilation. Bingling's cultivation had completely disappeared, and her entire Qi was controlled by the Soul-Eater Devil. But you know her personality. She would rather die than live in dishonor. She relied on her own will to suppress the evil energy that was controlling her body and fought the 4 Grandmaster Elders. She took me and broke out of the encirclement. At that time, Ningyu detonated his Qi and died together with the 4 Elders. Bingling's Qi was completely shattered, and she was on the verge of death. Zhu Hongxue's face was covered in tears. He clenched his fists so hard that his nails pierced his flesh, causing blood to flow. Ning Wuming, I will definitely put you to death by 1,000 cuts, 1,000 cuts. Then, I took Bingling and escaped from Sky Demon City to the outskirts. When I saw her covered in blood and her Qi completely shattered, I was scared out of my wits. I wanted to save her, so I lifted her clothes and checked her Qi. However, the despicable Ning Wuming sent people to follow me and recorded everything using the Jade Mirror. Then, he slandered me by saying that I was the one who caused junior sister Dongfang's death and even molested her. Yang Dingtian looked at Zhu Hongxue and said, Zhu Hongxue, do you believe it? Would I defile junior sister Dongfang? Would I be able to kill junior sister Dongfang? Zhu Hongxue looked at Yang Dingtian and nodded vigorously. Impossible. Bingling is a fairy from the heavens, no one dares to defile her. That's right. Yang Dingtian said, and most importantly, even though junior sister Dongfang was seriously injured at that time, she was as pure as jade and as pure as ice. If I was disrespectful to her, would she not have any reaction? She would have killed me with a slap. Zhu Hongxue's eyes lit up. That's right. Bingling is so pure, how could she allow others to defile her? Previously, Yang Dingtian was worried that he would not be able to explain to Zhu Hongxue about Bingling. He was worried that Zhu Hongxue would suspect that he had done something to Bingling. Now, Yang Dingtian finally found out. Convincing Zhu Hongxue was the easiest thing to do. He did not need to explain how pure he was, as long as he described Bingling as extremely powerful and noble, it would be enough. As for the rest, Zhu Hongxue would fill in the blanks himself. Even if there were any flaws, Zhu Hongxue would fill in the blanks himself. Now, Qin Chichi married Ning Wuming. Leng Yanmei took control of Sky Phoenix Pavilion and slandered me for defiling Bingling and causing her death. Do you believe it? Yang Dingtian asked. Impossible, Zhu Hongxue said firmly. Then, they started the Tiando League's Northwest Conference to expel Cloud Sky City from the Tiando League. Then, they let the Ning clan of the South Sea join the Tiando League. Is there anything more ridiculous than this? The people who framed junior sister Dongfang, the lackeys of evil ways, actually want to control our Tiando League. Can we let them succeed? This group of shameless people who framed Bingling? Yang Dingtian said sternly. In your dreams. Zhu Hongxue slammed the ground, instantly smashing the hard stone floor into pieces. At this moment, Qin Huayu and Song Chunhua could not help but look at each other. Their expressions were slightly strange. It was really difficult for Yang Dingtian to deal with an extremely proud and naive person like Zhu Hongxue. Luckily, Yang Dingtian was able to grasp the crux of the matter and quickly find a breakthrough point. He used Dongfang Bingling to pull Zhu Hongxue's extreme hatred towards the Ning clan of the South Sea, Leng Yanmei, and the young master of the Temple of Annihilation. He did not use the so-called righteousness and the survival of the chaotic world to persuade him. And then? Zhu Hongxue asked. Then, Bingling saw her energy reserve shatter. Even if we used Ning Ruo's method, it would not be able to save her. But I was determined not to give up, so she said there was one last way, which was to find her master, the master of the hidden clan, Su Wu Piaoling, Yang Dingtian said. Zhu Hongxue was shocked and said, that's right. Master Su Wu is the best in the world. He must have a way. Yang Dingtian continued, then, Bingling and I went to the northernmost Yin Yang mirror. She said she met Master Su Wu there. But when we passed through the north, we met a shameless scoundrel called Yan Pianxian. He was a very disgusting cripple and had been pestering Bingling for many years. I know him. This bastard is worse than pigs and dogs. He should take a look at himself in the mirror. He is a toad that wants to eat swan meat. Zhu Hongxue was full of disdain and hatred. If he had not helped Bingling in the past, I would have torn him to pieces. Bingling took me to the Yin Yang mirror. Then, we waited for Master Su Wu to appear. Time passed little by little, and the time until Bingling turned into a succubus was getting shorter and shorter. Yang Dingtian said, later, Bingling told me the truth. She said that Master Su Wu had no way to save her. On the contrary, if he knew that she had been poisoned by the soul-devouring devil, he would be the first to kill her. She said that she brought me to the Yin Yang mirror because she was afraid that the Yin sect would be completely cut off if she died. So, she wanted to introduce me to Master Su Wu so that I could inherit the Yin sect's legacy. Zhu Hongxue's expression changed slightly when he heard this. Obviously, he felt that the fact that Dongfang Bingling had brought Yang Dingtian was a huge blow to him. Yang Dingtian saw through his thoughts and said, Senior brother Zhu, you were tens of thousands of miles away at that time. Do you think junior sister Dongfang had a better choice? Also, ask yourself honestly, isn't my talent very high? Am I not a very good choice for junior sister Dongfang? If you have any thoughts about this, you are tarnishing Bingling's noble character. Immediately, Zhu Hongxue's face turned red. He looked ashamed and said, that's right. Your talent is very, very high. I shouldn't have such narrow-minded thoughts. Bingling told me that Master Su Wu would appear in a few days and asked me to wait at the Yin Yang mirror. However, she couldn't even make it through the night. The evil spirit energy had already reached her eyes and was about to take control of her entire body and turn her into a succubus, Yang Dingtian said. She told me to kill her the moment she turned into a succubus. She didn't want to fall into the clutches of the Temple of Annihilation's young master Li Ming. She didn't want to become a succubus who had lost her will. She didn't want her pure body to be silent in a dirty hell. At this point, Zhu Hongshue's entire body trembled and tears streamed down his face. I promised her that I would kill her before she turned into a succubus, Yang Dingtian said. Suddenly, Zhu Hongxue looked up and said with a sharp gaze, You killed her? How is that possible? How could I do it? Yang Dingtian sighed and said, If it were you, would you do it? Impossible. I would rather die than do it. A succubus is a succubus. I won't kill her. At least she's still here, Zhu Hongxue said with tears in his eyes. I thought so too. Yang Dingtian said, Subsequently, I watched her turn into a succubus with my own eyes. Then, she immediately pulled out her sword to kill me. Of course, I was no match for her and was about to be killed. At this moment, Uncle Master Leng Qingchen appeared and subdued Bingling, saving my life. He originally wanted to kill the succubus, Bingling, but he couldn't do it in the end, so he prepared to take me away. Right at this moment, that shameless scoundrel Yan Pianchuan appeared. Zhu Hongxue was stunned. Why did that dog Yan Pianqian appear here at this time? No matter how much I hated him, I still didn't want him to die and told him to run away. However, he directly attacked and Uncle Master Leng Qingchen couldn't move at all. Yang Dingtian said indifferently, Uncle Master Leng Qingchen was a grandmaster, but he was directly subdued by him. How is that possible? Zhu Hongxue exclaimed. Because Yan Pianxian is the Temple of Annihilation's young master, Li Ming, Yang Dingtian said. Zhu Hongxue trembled violently. His eyes revealed an expression of utter disbelief. He was thoroughly horrified. That dog is worse than a pig, is actually the Temple of Annihilation's young master? Zhu Hongxue hissed. Yes, Yang Dingtian said. Uncle Master Leng Qingchen was subdued and couldn't move at all. The succubus Bingling directly pierced Uncle Master Leng Qingchen's head with her sword. This elder, whom she regarded as her father, died directly under her sword. Zhu Hongxue was shocked and couldn't say anything. Then, what about Sect Master Su Wu? Why didn't she appear? Zhu Hongxue asked. Yang Dingtian was silent for a moment. He looked at Zhu Hongxue and said, Senior brother Zhu, what I'm going to say next is the world's most confidential secret. It will make the world despair and shock the world. Can I believe you? Of course, Zhu Hongxue said seriously. Don't tell me you doubt my character. Don't tell me you doubt Bingling's eyesight. Sect Master Su Wu appeared. Yang Dingtian said indifferently, She told me the secret of the hidden sect. It turns out that the hidden sect is not a force at all. There is only one person in each generation of the hidden sect. After Sect Master Su Wu, it should have been Bingling. However, Bingling became a succubus. Why didn't Sect Master Su Wu save her? Zhu Hongxue asked. Because, Sect Master Su Wu was also poisoned by the soul-devouring devil mystic more than 200 years ago. Then, she became the Queen Devil Queen in front of me. Yang Dingtian said indifferently, before she became the Devil Empress Undead Concubine, she had passed the position of the Hidden Sect Patriarch to me. She had also passed me the Hidden Sect's keepsake. Yang Dingtian took out the crystal sword and handed it to Zhu Hongxue. Zhu Hongxue took the crystal sword in a daze and muttered to himself, I know this crystal sword. How can this be? Even Sect Master Su Wu was demonized. Then what hope does the Tiando League have? Zhu Hongxue said. Yang Dingtian said, Then, the Queen Devil Queen and the succubus Bingling disappeared. The young master of the Shrine of Extermination, Yan Pianxian, came before me. He said that he wanted to kill me, but he didn't want me to watch Bing Ling fall into his demonic hands. He wanted me to watch the world fall into his demonic hands. He wanted me to experience the despair of an egg hitting a rock. That was why he didn't kill me. He also promised me that the duel with Bingling 3 years later would take place as scheduled. If I could win, he wouldn't humiliate Bingling's body. Of course, before my duel with Bingling, he wouldn't touch Bingling either. When he said this, Zhu Hongshue's eyes lit up. There was more hope. To him, Bingling's innocence was the most important. Of course, Yang Dingtian lied about this. In fact, after Bingling became Princess Mudan, she was second only to one person in the evil ways. She wasn't someone that the Temple of Annihilation's young Master Li Ming could humiliate. However, in order to make Zhu Hongxue angry, he could only say this. If he told Zhu Hongxue directly that Dongfang Bingling had become the princess of the evil ways, she would be second only to one person in the world. Perhaps Zhu Hongxue, this romantic, would directly side with her. In any case, the justice of the Tiando League wasn't very important to him. I clearly saw that when Bingling killed Martial Uncle Leng Qingchen, her eyes were filled with tears and incomparable pain. In my ears, her sorrowful voice rang. She said, "Senior brother, save me." Yang Dingtian, and then tears fell. This wasn't an act. Every time Yang Dingtian thought of this scene, his heart would be completely shaken. At this time, Zhu Hongshue's face was already covered in tears, and he was sobbing. "Senior brother Zhu, I asked you why I saved you just now. Actually, there's another reason." Yang Dingtian said indifferently, "Do you know what it is?" "What?" Zhu Hongxue cried and trembled. "Because of Bingling." Yang Dingtian said, "Before she became a succubus, she personally told me that before she died, there was one person she was most worried about, and that was you." Zhu Hongxue was shocked, and his eyes emitted a light that shocked Yang Dingtian. "She said that you were a person with great talent and noble character. But you were too proud and conceited, and you were unyielding. She was really worried that you would take the wrong path and suffer losses." Yang Dingtian said, "If she didn't die, she could still keep an eye on you. But if she died, no one would keep an eye on you. So, she told me to keep an eye on you and help you." Of course, Yang Dingtian was lying. But it was very useful. Zhu Hongxue directly knelt on the ground, sobbing and wailing. Yang Dingtian saw it even more clearly. Although Zhu Hongxue looked down on the world. But in front of Bingling, he lowered his position very, very low. He raised Bingling to the top of the 9 heavens and put himself in an extremely humble position. So, even if Bingling had a little bit of affirmation, it was enough for him to go through water and tread on fire. This person was really a sentimental person. His infatuation with Bingling was far greater than Yang Dingtian's. Moreover, he also knew clearly in his heart that Bingling had always been indifferent to him. But the more it was like this, the more infatuated he was. From the beginning to the end, he didn't care about anyone. However, as long as Yang Dingtian talked about Bingling, no matter how high her status was or how powerful she was, he didn't have the slightest bit of jealousy. He was completely proud and honored. "Senior brother Zhu, we have to save Bingling. We have to completely defeat that bastard Li Ming. We have to completely eliminate evil ways. We have to save Bingling. We have to let her return to being the fairy of the 9 heavens. We have to let her return to being the leader of the Tiando League. We have to save her." Yang Dingtian looked at Zhu Hongxue and said, "But, I can't do it alone. I only have Cloud Sky City, but the enemy is incomparably powerful. I'm already in danger. Senior brother Zhu, help me, okay?" Yang Dingtian said sincerely. Then, Yang Dingtian bowed to Zhu Hongxue. Zhu Hongxue was still crying on the ground. Then, he gradually calmed down. The light in his eyes began to condense, and the expression on his face began to become more determined. Evil ways and the Temple of Annihilation are absolutely irreconcilable. I swear, I will definitely kill the Ning clan of the South Sea and tear Ning Wuming into pieces. Then, Zhu Hongxue stretched out his hand to Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian stretched out his hand and said to Song Chunhua, Chunhua, senior brother Qin, you guys come too. Immediately, Song Chunhua and Qin Huayu stepped forward. They raised their hands and clapped. Yang Dingtian said sternly, we can't let junior sister Dongfang down. We can't let the Temple of Annihilation be complacent. Although our forces aren't weak, we have to let the demons of the Temple of Annihilation see clearly. We have to let that bastard Li Ming see clearly. Our Tiando League isn't dead yet. Our Tiando League still has heroes. Yes. Suddenly, their blood boiled. Yang Dingtian looked at everyone and said, since we're going to treat each other with sincerity, we'll become the kindling of justice in this world. Let's become sworn brothers of the opposite sex. How about it? Yang Dingtian was still a little worried about Zhu Hongxue. Zhu Hongxue was too sensitive and naive. He had to completely hold him back. Yang Dingtian saw it clearly. Zhu Hongxue was an arrogant and conceited person. But once he fell in love, it wouldn't be easy to change. Therefore, he should be able to hold him back by using the relationship. When Yang Dingtian suggested this, Zhu Hongxue was instantly startled. Senior brother Zhu, don't tell me you still look down on me in your heart. Yang Dingtian said. Zhu Hongxue fell into deep thought. He realized that at this moment, he actually had a strange feeling about Yang Dingtian in his heart. Perhaps it was because Yang Dingtian's story with Bing Ling gave Zhu Hongxue a strong sense of immersion. He couldn't help but put himself in Yang Dingtian's shoes. Perhaps it was Bing Ling who entrusted herself to Yang Dingtian at the last moment. Of course, if someone else entrusted themselves to Yang Dingtian, they would say that they were naive and would take the wrong path. Zhu Hongxue would be furious. He would see it as a humiliation and would directly draw his sword to wipe it away. However, when Dongfang Bingling said that he was naive and was afraid that he would take the wrong path and suffer losses, Zhu Hongxue was moved. Zhu Hongxue was so touched that he wanted to cry. His entire body and mind were sweet and numb. Bing Ling said that he was naive, so he desperately believed that he was really naive. Bing Ling was worried that he would take the wrong path, so he reflected on himself. If he really did take the wrong path, he would suffer losses. In short, Bing Ling's words of concern were like an imperial edict to him. Of course not. Even I lost to you. Zhu Hongxue said to Yang Dingtian. Then what do you think of my suggestion? Yang Dingtian said, after we become siblings of the opposite sex, we will live and die together. We will never betray or abandon each other. Although Song Chunhua's blood was boiling, she was not very willing in her heart because she was more willing to treat Yang Dingtian as the leader. She was afraid that this kind of equal relationship would hurt Yang Dingtian's position as the leader. Okay. Zhu Hongxue clenched his fists. After he really thought about Yang Dingtian's words, he felt that Bing Ling seemed to have turned into a tie that tied him and Yang Dingtian together. Qin Huayu was also worried that this kind of brotherhood would weaken Yang Dingtian's position. He could not help but ask, then who is the elder among us? The meaning was very clear. He wanted Yang Dingtian to be the leader of the brothers. Of course you're the elder. Yang Dingtian said, among everyone present, senior brother Qin is the oldest. As soon as Yang Dingtian said this, Song Chunhua and Qin Huayu immediately breathed a sigh of relief. They were worried that Yang Dingtian would make Zhu Hongxue the leader of the brothers because of his relationship with the Xiantian sect's young master. Now, it did not matter if Qin Huayu was the elder brother. This was because Qin Huayu would always follow Yang Dingtian's lead. Okay, then let's become sworn brothers and sisters of the opposite sex, everyone said. Go and call Vulture over, Yang Dingtian said. Zhu Hongxue immediately frowned slightly and said, Yang Dingtian, there's almost no one in the world who can be compared to us siblings. I'm afraid no one else is qualified. This person was really arrogant and conceited to the extreme. Yang Dingtian said, Vulture is the little princess of the Vulture Palace. She's the only successor of Ancestor Wulingzi. She might be the only celestial spirit master in the entire world. Suddenly, Zhu Hongxue was stunned and nodded. If that's the case, then she's barely qualified to be with us. I'll call Vulture, Qin Huayu said. Chapter 431. At this moment, there were only 5 people on Yang Dingtian's side. On the other side, there were more than 30,000 people. However, when Qin Huayu, Zhu Hongxue, and the others took off their armor and masks, these tens of thousands of soldiers did not think much of it. Instead, they felt that Yang Dingtian was too much of a bully. Only 5 people dared to charge over. Did they not exist? Therefore, they roared and continued to charge over. However, their feudal lords were all stunned. When Qin Huayu took off his mask, they were already stunned. Then, Song Chunhua and the others continued to be stunned. Finally, when Zhu Hongxue took off his mask, they had completely turned into wood as if they had been struck by lightning. What the hell is going on? What exactly happened? Didn't they say that Yang Dingtian had been abandoned by everyone? Didn't they say that Yang Dingtian was completely condemned by everyone and became the public enemy of the world? Why does it seem like he's so awesome and cool now? Who was Zhu Hongxue? The #1 youth leader in the world, the future master of the Black Sky sect. He could be said to be the most important person in the Tiando League. At this moment, he was shocked by Yang Dingtian's god-beating whip. Among the 5 of them, Yang Dingtian was standing in the middle. However, some of the lesser lords did not recognize these young lords of the major factions. They still roared and charged forward. However, when they saw that their companions had stopped moving and Tang Buizhao's face was full of defeat and trembling, they also stopped and looked around. When the tens of thousands of soldiers behind saw that the lords in front of them had stopped, they also quickly stopped. Instantly, it was a mess. Therefore, the mighty army of tens of thousands stopped, and Yang Dingtian's group of 5 charged forward. When he was 20 meters away from the rebel army, Yang Dingtian stopped. Looking at the overwhelming rebel army, he said indifferently, I don't know what Tang Buizhao and the others said to you. I've been abandoned by everyone. I've become the public enemy of the Tiando League. Perhaps you don't know who these people beside me are. Brothers, introduce yourselves. Qin Huayu stepped forward and said loudly, Northwest Qin City's young lord, Qin Huayu. Song Chunhua stepped forward and said in a clear voice, Northern World Society's young master, Song Chunhua. Zhu Hongxue raised his head and said arrogantly, Black Heaven Sect, Zhu Hongxue. The little Princess Vulture also raised her head and said, Young Master of the Vulture Palace, Vulture. By the way, my great-grandfather is Wulingzi. Instantly, Yang Dingtian and the others rolled their eyes at the little girl. At least half of the imposing atmosphere had been destroyed by this girl. The little girl stuck out her little tongue. If she didn't say her great-grandfather's name, it wouldn't be impressive enough. It's fine that we're suppressed by him. Now, you, a mere revered martial artist, want to suppress us? The new Iron Sword Fort Master continued, there are hundreds of lords here. There are at least 17 or 18 of them whose cultivation is higher than you, Yang Dingtian. Although I'm not the strongest, I'm still far stronger than you, Yang Dingtian. With your lousy cultivation, you have the nerve to give us orders. How about this, we won't attack Cloud Sky City. We'll leave Cloud Sky City. That's fine, right? As soon as he said that, the rebel nobles seemed to have found a solution. They shouted, yes, yes, we'll leave Cloud Sky City. Instantly, the Iron Sword Fort Master said proudly, "Don't say that we're bullying you. This world is so realistic. The weak are prey to the strong. Everyone hopes to rely on the strong. How about this, you and I fight? If you win, everything will go back to normal. If you lose, we'll all leave Cloud Sky City. We don't want the weak Cloud Sky City to ride roughshod over us. How about that?" As soon as he said that, the rebel army's morale suddenly increased. "In terms of status, we can't compare to you. However, in terms of cultivation, everyone here is much more powerful than you, a mere beginner revered martial artist." Even the new Iron Sword Fort Master was a 4-star revered martial artist. Although he couldn't compare to his father, he was more powerful than the previous Iron Sword Fort Master. However, his brain wasn't very good, so he couldn't become the Iron Sword Fort Master. However, a few months ago, the Iron Sword Fort Master was killed by Yang Dingtian, so he became the new Iron Sword Fort Master. If the next Duke challenged you, as the Cloud Sky City's lord, you didn't dare to accept. No matter how noble your status was, no matter how many important people you brought, Yang Dingtian's morale would be weakened. Immediately, the nobles looked at the Iron Sword Fort Master. They all said that his brain wasn't very good, but it didn't seem like it. Judging from his performance today, his brain was very good. Seeing everyone's gazes, the new Iron Sword Fort Master became even more proud. He walked out of the crowd and rushed in front of Yang Dingtian. He roared, "Yang Dingtian, do you dare to fight with me? As long as you defeat me, we'll go back and continue to treat you as our lord. If you lose, then I'm sorry, but we'll have to leave Cloud Sky City." The new Iron Sword Fort Master stared coldly at Yang Dingtian with his bloody eyes. He suddenly raised his giant sword and roared, "Yang Dingtian, do you dare to fight?" The nobles behind him also shouted, "Yang Dingtian, do you dare to fight?" Hundreds of people shouted, trying to completely suppress Yang Dingtian's momentum. The Iron Sword Fort Master suddenly tore his robe, waved his giant sword, and roared at Yang Dingtian, "Yang Dingtian, have you become a coward? Do you dare to fight?" Yang Dingtian had heard that the new Iron Sword Fort Master's martial arts were better than his brother's, but his brain wasn't very good. Now, he knew what was wrong with this person's brain. "Yang Dingtian, do you dare to fight with me? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Ha ha ha." The Iron Sword Fort Master laughed wildly. Yang Dingtian looked at him indifferently. "Get lost!" Yang Dingtian shouted. Boom! Suddenly, there seemed to be a sudden thunder in the sky. Just Yang Dingtian's shout turned into a huge energy, which suddenly condensed into a giant dragon and swept toward the Iron Sword Fort Master. Bang! In an instant, the Iron Sword Fort Master's body shook violently, and then his huge and majestic body flew out directly like a straw. Puff! In the air, his body suddenly exploded, and he died without a complete corpse. All the dukes present were completely shocked. They looked at the scene in front of them in disbelief. Although the new Iron Sword Fort Master's brain wasn't very good, he was still a 4-star martial venerable. They thought that Yang Dingtian didn't dare to fight. They thought that Yang Dingtian couldn't defeat him. Who knew that he didn't even need to make a move? With a single shout, he had shattered his body into pieces. The energy of a shout easily shattered a 4-star martial venerable. This was even more than an instant kill. What kind of cultivation was this? How amazing was this? You're worse than pigs and dogs. What qualifications do you have to fight with me? Yang Dingtian raised his chin and said with incomparable contempt. Then, he said indifferently, "All the lords and dukes of Cloud Sky City, you incited a rebellion, which is unforgivable. I order all of you to be put to death. However, the remaining tens of thousands of rebels, you were only bewitched, so you can be exempted from death. From now on, you are all direct warriors of Cloud Sky City. Every month, your salary will be doubled, and the land you own will be doubled. The outstanding ones can even enter Cloud Sky City's newly built celestial chi condensation array to cultivate. Now, make your choice. If you want to continue the rebellion, I will exterminate your 9 generations. If you want to completely surrender to me, take 10 steps back. Suddenly, the 30,000 rebels looked at each other. Although Yang Dingtian's words made them very tempted, they really didn't dare to move without someone taking the lead. No one is to retreat. The rebel lord said loudly, Yang Dingtian is lying to you. We have tens of thousands of people, and Cloud Sky City is no match for us. Double the salary, double the land, and celestial chi condensation array. They are all lies. Only by rushing forward and killing Yang Dingtian will we have a chance to survive. That's right. Charge forward and kill Yang Dingtian. Everyone, don't be afraid of him. Cloud Sky City only has a few soldiers. If they want to exterminate your 9 generations, they are dreaming. Aren't they afraid of biting their tongues? Suddenly, the tens of thousands of rebels began to hesitate. Qin Huaiyu stepped forward and sneered, Cloud Sky City doesn't have many soldiers, but Northwest Qin City has plenty. 100,000, 300,000, 500,000. As many as you want. If it's not enough, the world will send another 200,000 soldiers. Will it be enough to exterminate your 9 generations? When Qin Huaiyu said this, everyone's faces trembled. Qin Huaiyu said, also, the Tiando League headquarters will list all your clansmen on the world's wanted list. Even if your families escape to the ends of the earth, only death awaits. I want to see if you have the final say in the Tiando League, or if we have the final say. Yang Dingtian looked at the 30,000 rebels. Suddenly, he shouted, still not retreating. Do you want to die? Suddenly, it was as if a thunderclap sounded in the sky. This loud sound caused the earth to tremble. Everyone's eardrums almost burst. This power was even more shocking than when the Iron Sword Fort Master was killed. Bang! At the same time, an incomparably huge bolt of lightning struck down from the sky. The dozens of rebels in the center of the field were instantly turned into ashes. They were directly blown to pieces. Of course, this was the power of Yang Dingtian's lightning-type mystic skill, Demon Sky Splitter. However, many of the rebels thought that it was the power of Yang Dingtian's roar that caused the world to be angry. Suddenly, the tens of thousands of rebels trembled and quickly retreated. Once he retreated, there was no way to stop it. Like a tide, they retreated more than 10 steps. They were completely defeated. Many lords shouted, threatened, and even killed, but they could not stop the rebels from retreating. Suddenly, the tens of thousands of rebels completely drew a clear line between themselves and the hundreds of rebel lords. They left them there alone. Thus, all the rebel lords' aura weakened and felt incomparably weak. Kill them all. Leave no one alive, Yang Dingtian ordered calmly. Then, the 5 of them put down their masks and galloped. With Yang Dingtian as the leader, the 5 riders pierced into the group of rebel lords like an arrow. They pulled out their sharp swords and killed crazily. There was no suspense and no resistance. In incomparable horror, the heads of these rebel lords were cut off one by one. Yang Dingtian and the other 4 swept over. Blood spurted out and heads flew. In just a moment, dozens of nearly 100 rebels were slaughtered clean. Everyone was beheaded and died without a complete corpse. In fact, if these nearly 100 rebels were to gather together and fight to the death, they would not be completely powerless. Although they might still lose in the end, they would also cause a certain amount of trouble and damage to Yang Dingtian and the other 4. The combat strength of nearly 100 experts gathered together was still astonishing. However, the reality was a one-sided massacre. There was no resistance at all. It was because they were completely weak. Before the war began, their souls were almost scattered. Yang Dingtian's mysterious might and the identities of Vermilion Snow, Qin Huaiyu, and Song Chunhua suppressed them to the point that they almost could not breathe. Therefore, this battle was an absolutely lopsided battle. Over 100 rebels were wiped out. Among the people present, only Tang Bosheo was still standing. His legs were trembling and his entire body was trembling. He used all his strength to prevent himself from collapsing. Yang Dingtian turned his horse around and came in front of Tang Bosheo, looking at him indifferently. Tang Bosheo trembled and knelt on the ground. He said loudly, "My brave and great lord of Cloud Sky City, Tang Bosheo has finally fulfilled his mission and gathered these rebels together so that master can eliminate them in one fell swoop. My Cloud Sky City is strong and immortal. I, Lord of Cloud Sky City, Yang Dingtian, have both literary and martial virtues. I benefit the common people and will last for thousands of years. My might will shake the world." Yang Dingtian was stunned and looked at Tang Bosheo in disbelief. It turned out that people could really be shameless to this extent. "Where's Shimanju?" Yang Dingtian asked indifferently. Instantly, Tang Bosheo said flatteringly, "That traitor seemed to have heard the news and escaped long ago. He must have gone to seek refuge with that bitch Qin Chi-Chi." "Then what do you plan to do, traitor?" Yang Dingtian asked indifferently. Tang Bosheo's expression changed slightly. Then, he suddenly pulled out his dagger and swung it at his crotch. Instantly, blood spurted out. Tang Bosheo had completely become a eunuch. Yang Dingtian was really shocked. How could Tang Bosheo be so cruel to himself? After castrating himself, Tang Bosheo endured the unbearable pain and knelt in front of Yang Dingtian while trembling. He kissed Yang Dingtian's warhorse hooves and said in a trembling voice, "From now on, I am master's loyal dog, the most lowly lackey. I am willing to do anything for master." Then, he said in a low voice, "Also, I actually have an illegitimate daughter who is as beautiful as a flower. What's even more rare is that they are a pair of twins who look exactly the same." Yang Dingtian was completely speechless. This shameless person. Not only did he offer his own wife, he even offered his illegitimate daughter. Yang Dingtian listened to his shameless words and did not say anything. "Also, I know the direct descendants of these traitors. If you cut the grass without removing the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. I am willing to lead people to uproot them and let this 1,000-mile territory completely become Cloud Sky City's territory. The people of this 1,000-mile territory will no longer be persecuted. I will let them truly enjoy the glory of the city Lord God of Culture and Martial Arts," Tang Bosheo said. Yang Dingtian still did not say anything. Tang Bosheo continued, "In the war between you and that bitch Qin Chi-Chi, and those pigs and dogs from the Ning clan of the South Sea, I can also be a surprise soldier. I am willing to do anything for my great master and show my humble and meager strength. A person who is shameless is invincible." "This sentence is really true," Yang Dingtian said lightly. Then, Yang Dingtian rode his horse and arrived in front of the 30,000 traitors. Whoosh! No one knew who started it, but the 30,000 traitors all knelt down. In the end, the front was filled with kneeling traitors. Not a single one of them was standing. "I mean what I said," Yang Dingtian said lightly. "All of you, sit where you are and wait. Cloud Sky City will send troops to settle you down and reorganize you. Tang Bosheo, come here," Yang Dingtian said. "Yes." Tang Bosheo endured the pain and quickly ran over. He directly knelt in front of Yang Dingtian and said, "Master, what orders do you have? You are familiar with the traitors. Organize them into teams. 10 people make a small team, 100 people make a medium team, and 1,000 people make a large team. Every team has a captain. Also, you pick out 500 people with the best martial arts. You will be the temporary military commander and be in charge of the order of this 3-man army." Yang Dingtian said lightly, "If one person runs away, kill all of his small team. If 2 people run away, kill all of their medium team. If 10 people run away, kill all of their large team. Yes. I will obey the orders of the city lord. Tang Bosheo knelt and said. These 500 soldiers can be the most direct army of Cloud Sky City in the future. They will enjoy 3 times the treatment of ordinary warriors. Yang Dingtian said. Suddenly, the 30,000 traders' eyes lit up and were filled with hope. After that, Yang Dingtian really didn't care about anything. He directly left with Qin Huayu and Song Chunhua. He handed over the 30,000 traders to Tang Bosheo. Of course, he only used a flying bird to send a message to Cloud Sky City and asked Shimen Lai to send an army to reorganize and take over the traders. Yang Dingtian, why didn't you kill Tang Bosheo? He is really disgusting. Little Princess Vulture said, you must like to hear his flattery. Yang Dingtian said, he is still useful. Then you shouldn't have handed these 30,000 people to him. What if something happens? Vulture said, in a few hours, Shimen Lai will bring people to take over this army. But he will only bring a few people, only 1 or 2,000. If this traitor army rioted, wouldn't Shimen Lai be in danger? It won't. Song Chunhua said, these traitors are like a group of dragons without a leader. They have already become a flock of sheep. Even if they rioted, they wouldn't be a match for Shimen Lai's 1,000 over black blood cavalry. Then what if Shimen Ju or Qin Chi sends experts to fan the flames among the 30,000 traitors? Little Princess Vulture said. Qin Chi looks down on this motley crew. Yang Dingtian spoke indifferently, furthermore, our enemy is in the west, and we are heading towards the west. If there is an enemy, we will be the first to meet them. Qin Huayu also said, don't worry. These 30,000 traitors are insignificant. They can't do anything, nor can they ruin anything. Yang Dingtian led the 5 of them to the Abyss Castle at the fastest speed. As expected, Shimen Ju was no longer there. All the cavalry in the Abyss Castle had also retreated. It was obvious that they had gone to seek refuge with Qin Chi of the northwest Qin city. Yang Dingtian's group of 5 rode directly across the drawbridge at the Abyss Castle. At this moment, there was no one on the drawbridge. On the other side of the drawbridge was the territory of the northwest Qin city. It was guarded by Qin Jingtang of the Abyss Castle. At this moment, there were guards of the Qin city in the outpost. They didn't stop Yang Dingtian's group, but no one came out to greet Qin Huayu. Qin Huayu was the young master of the northwest Qin city. Qin Jingtang should have come to greet him personally. However, the entire Abyss Castle was silent. Qin Jingtang didn't appear. No one else appeared. Because Qin Jingtang was sitting on the wall. They didn't know whether they should stand on Qin Chi's side or Qin Huayu's side. Therefore, even if they knew Qin Huayu had arrived, they pretended not to see him. Qin Huayu's face immediately became ugly. Do you want to go to the Abyss Castle to see Qin Jingtang? Song Chunhua asked. No need, Qin Huayu said, if they want to sit on the wall, then let them continue to sit on the wall. Then, Yang Dingtian led the 5 of them and continued to head west. Along the way, they passed by the northwest Qin city's territory. However, there was absolute silence along the way. No one came to greet Qin Huayu. It was as if they didn't see him at all. It seemed that the situation of the northwest Qin city was very bad. Qin Wancho's focus had already shifted even more toward Qin Chi. We have to hurry, Yang Dingtian said, the marriage between Qin Huayu and Song Lihua can only succeed. It can't fail. The World Society's alliance with us can only succeed. It can't fail. Yes. Song Chunhua said coldly, in order to achieve this goal, we can do anything. After entering the territory of the northwest Qin city, Yang Dingtian's group rode on their flying mounts and directly went north. Along the Continental Bridge, they flew in the direction of the Northern Lands World Society. Chapter 432. The World Society was the only overlord in the north. In terms of territory, it was even bigger than the Northwest Qin City. The entire north belonged to the World Society and was about 4,000 to 5,000 miles wide. Of course, due to the unique geographical environment of the north, the population wasn't as dense as the Northwest Qin City. Therefore, its overall power was slightly weaker than the Northwest Qin City. However, among the world 9 sects, its power was second only to the Northwest Qin City. It was one of the 2 pillars of the entire western mainland. It was already spring, but there was still very little green in the north. Most of its territory was scorched red. There would be a patch of green in about every 100 miles. Although it wasn't as exaggerated as the oases, it wasn't too far off. Most of the people were gathered in these oases. Yang Dingtian and the other 4 rode on their flying mounts and arrived at the headquarters of the World Society, King City, when the sky was about to turn dark. The entire King City was built on a mountain. It was grand and magnificent. The city was 1,000 meters tall and towered above the clouds. Of course, the Temple of Blood was also in the Mountain of Blood. However, it was only a cave that was excavated in the Mountain of Blood to form the Temple of Blood. As for King City, it started from the bottom of the mountain and went up layer by layer. Each layer was narrower and more magnificent than the last. This huge stone mountain was about 1,000 meters tall. Floor by floor, there were a total of 9 floors. Of course, the people who lived in King City were stronger and nobler with each layer. Yang Dingtian looked at the city from afar and couldn't help but exclaim. Compared to Cloud Sky City and even the Northwest Qin City, King City could be said to be an architectural miracle. Before they got close to King City, a group of flying cavalrymen surrounded them and shouted, "Who are you? Come down immediately or we'll kill you." Song Chunhua lifted her mask and said, "It's me." Instantly, a few of the flying cavalrymen bowed and said respectfully, "Greetings, Commander." Then, this group of flying cavalrymen escorted Yang Dingtian and the others to King City's aerial platform and landed. The aerial platform was on the 5th level of King City. Yang Dingtian and the others had just landed when a group of cavalrymen rushed forward. Then, the leading cavalryman got off his horse and knelt down. "Greetings, Commander." "Get up." Song Chunhua said, "Shall we return to the sect?" "He's doing very well. He just misses the Grand Commander very much," the leading knight said. Then, he looked at Yang Dingtian and the others. At this moment, Yang Dingtian and the others were all wearing golden masks. "These people are my friends." Song Chunhua did not reveal the identities of Yang Dingtian and the others. Then, the leading knight led Song Chunhua and the others into the city. Yang Dingtian and the rest mounted their horses and followed him into the city. They then headed towards the highest level of the city. "Song Minghua, did you go to the Northwest Taekwondo League's meeting on behalf of your father?" Song Chunhua asked. It turned out that the leader of the knights was his more mature brother, Song Minghua. "Yes." When Song Minghua heard Song Chunhua mention this matter, he became slightly excited and said, "The meeting mainly confirmed Yang Dingtian's unforgivable crime and publicized the evidence of Yang Dingtian murdering Fairy Dongfang. They decided to expel Cloud Heaven City from the Taekwondo League and issue a kill order for Yang Dingtian. In the end, they decided to form an alliance to suppress Cloud Heaven City." Song Chunhua frowned slightly and said, "Then, our World Society also decided to send out troops." "Yes, of course we have to send out troops. Yang Dingtian has harmed the world and his crime is unforgivable. Everyone has the right to punish him." Song Minghua said, "Because you weren't here, my father ordered me to form an army to suppress Cloud Heaven City. These days, I have been busy with this matter. I plan to select 3,000 steel warriors, 500 demon dragon cavalry, and 10,000 elite cavalrymen to suppress Cloud Heaven City." Hearing this, the little Princess Vulture couldn't help but glance at Yang Dingtian. However, Yang Dingtian was completely expressionless. Song Chunhua frowned slightly and said, 10,000 elite cavalrymen isn't much, but 3,000 steel warriors and 500 demon dragon cavalry have already touched our world society's assets. What benefits are there for you to be willing to pay such a huge price? Song Minghua glanced at Yang Dingtian and the others, wanting to say something but hesitating. Don't worry, they are all my most trusted friends. Song Chunhua said. The Tiando League's Northwest branch has decided that once we suppress Cloud Heaven City, Qin City will not take a single inch of Cloud Heaven City's territory. It will all belong to our world society. Song Minghua said, Sister, you know this. Although our north is over 5,000 miles wide, the land is barren and the people are poor. Moreover, we are separated from the continent by a long land bridge, so we are called the Nine Gates of the World. However, we are already considered isolated in the sea. Even in our dreams, we want to go deep into the continent and obtain a piece of fertile land. Cloud Heaven City's territory is fertile and fertile. Once we obtain this piece of land, we will be able to step into the Northwest continent. We will be in an invincible position. At this moment, Yang Dingtian couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Qin Chichi and Ning Wuming were really generous. They gave Cloud Heaven City's territory to world society. No wonder world society's Song Shao was so tempted to send out such an elite troop. After hearing this, Song Chunhua didn't say anything. She just nodded silently. The group of people arrived at the top of King City. This was the most important place of world society. Only one person had the qualifications to stay here, and that was world society's leader, Song Shao. Even Song Chunhua could only stay on the 8th floor. When they arrived at the highest floor of the main hall, Song Chunhua knelt down and said loudly, World Society's Demon Dragon Cavalry, Steel Warrior Army Commander Song Chunhua, greets World Society's leader. Enter. An expressionless voice came from inside the main hall. This was Song Xiao's voice. It was firm, cold, and even sounded unreasonable. Yes. Song Chunhua stood up and walked inside. Yang Dingtian and the rest followed in. Who allowed you to enter? Song Minghua shouted in a low voice. His eyes were filled with anger, but he stood with his back bent and didn't dare to move. The World Society's rules were too strict. It was even stricter than Qin City's. Yang Dingtian ignored him and walked in. Impudent. You dare to behave atrociously in my world society? Song Minghua suddenly pulled out his sword. Instantly, the knights behind him also pulled out their swords. Logically speaking, Yang Dingtian and the rest were friends brought by Song Chunhua, so Song Minghua shouldn't be like this. However, he still pulled out his sword. It could be seen that his heart was filled with instinctive hostility towards Song Chunhua. Humph. In the main hall, a cold snort sounded, but no one knew who it was directed at. However, Song Minghua seemed to be frightened. He immediately bowed and stood on the spot, not daring to move. Yang Dingtian and the rest followed Song Chunhua into the main hall. This main hall was extremely huge and grand. Yang Dingtian even had a feeling of entering the Athens temple. Moreover, Yang Dingtian could see that the entire main hall was a single entity. There were no traces of building. Soon, Yang Dingtian could see that this main hall was actually carved out of a giant rock. Instantly, Yang Dingtian was speechless. To carve out such a main hall from a mountain, the world society was actually so domineering. At this moment, the world society's leader, Song Shao, was standing in front of the throne at the end of the main hall. This throne was more than 10 meters from the ground. There were dozens of steps, giving people a feeling of supremacy. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but sigh. Even the Northwest Qin City's Qin Wanchou didn't have such prestige. Daughter Song Chunhua greets father. Song Chunhua lifted her mask, took off her helmet, and knelt on the ground, kowtowing. Song Shao, who was sitting on the high seat, coldly replied, Where have you been these few months? Do you need 4 to 5 months to go to Sky Demon City? In a while, go receive 100 whips and then be imprisoned for a month. When these words came out, Yang Dingtian was shocked. This Song Chunhua was his daughter, and his most outstanding child. He actually punished her so harshly. At this moment, Song Shao turned around. Yang Dingtian immediately saw his face. He was very tall, almost 2 meters in Earth's measurement unit. His face was very long, and he could be considered handsome. However, his face was like a stone. His cheeks were like knives, his eyes were sharp, and his nose was straight and curved. There was no expression on his face. At all times, he was strict and solemn. He looked like he would always keep people 1,000 miles away, absolutely cold and emotionless. This kind of person was the most difficult to interact with. Hearing her father's punishment, Song Chunhua was also slightly stunned. She said, "Yes. Who did you bring? Didn't their elders teach them etiquette?" Song Shao said coldly. Yang Dingtian and the rest took off their masks and bowed. Cloud Sky City's Mayor Yang Dingtian greets World Society's faction leader Song. Northwest Qin City's Qin Huayu greets World Society's faction leader Song. Black Heaven Sect's Zhu Hongxue greets World Society's faction leader Song. Vulture Palace's Vulture greets World Society's faction leader Song. Hearing these people admit their identities, Song Zhao's gaze froze. His cold and sharp gaze swept across everyone, and finally landed on Yang Dingtian's face. "You're that Yang Dingtian that Shiman Wuya picked up?" Song Shao asked. Yang Dingtian frowned slightly and replied, "That's right. You're wanted by the Taekwondo League, but you still swaggered into my world society. Who gave you the guts to be so arrogant?" Song Shao said coldly. Yang Dingtian frowned. "Faction leader Song, are you going to admit to the crimes that were planted on me? You've been wronged?" Song Shao asked coldly. "Of course," Yang Dingtian said. "What does this have to do with me?" Song Shao said coldly. "Not only do I not have any relationship with Cloud Sky City, I only have hatred. Are you here to seek redress? There's no need for that. Before I go back on my words, get the hell out of my city. Otherwise, I don't mind a Cloud Sky City lord dying here." Yang Dingtian's eyes narrowed, and a burst of anger surged in his heart. "Father, City Lord Yang Dingtian is my comrade in arms. We've already sworn to live and die together," Song Chunhua said. "Did I agree?" Song Shao said coldly. "Song Chunhua, you have to remember. Everything you have is given to you by me. You will only have it if I give it to you. If I don't give it to you, you have nothing. From today onwards, you don't have to be the great commander of the Devil Dragon Army anymore." Immediately, Song Shao took away half of Song Chunhua's most important military power. "Yes," Song Chunhua said. "However, your daughter begs you to let Yang Dingtian finish what he wants to say." "Let him finish what he wants to say in front of me. You think too highly of him." Song Zhao's face revealed absolute coldness and arrogance. This kind of arrogance was something that Yang Dingtian had never experienced from Qin Wanchou. Qin Huayu stepped forward and bowed. Reporting to Sect Master Song, Yang Dingtian, Song Chunhua, Zhu Hongxue, and Vulture have already sworn to be brothers in front of tens of thousands of people. We will advance and retreat together. Please give us a chance to speak. Song Shao looked at Qin Huayu and revealed a cold smile. "Yang Dingtian, you are very cunning. You pulled my daughter, Qin Huayu, and Zhu Hongxue in. You tried to make World Society and Northwest Qin City stand on your side and join your battle group. What a joke. Do you think it will work? Qin Huayu, you can't even protect yourself. You still want to get involved with Yang Dingtian. You are really seeking your own death. Zhu Hongxue, you will soon feel your father's thunderous anger." Song Shao finally looked at Vulture and didn't express any opinion on her. Get out! Song Shao coldly shouted. I don't want to say it a third time. Song Chunhua stepped forward and said, Father, these few months, Yang Dingtian brought us into a secret realm. Your daughter's cultivation has already broken through to the 2-star Grandmaster level. Currently, there is no one in the world who can match her in the younger generation. This is all thanks to Yang Dingtian. Song Zhao's face suddenly shook. You have already broken through to the 2-star Grandmaster level? Yes, father. Song Chunhua said. Not only that, Yang Dingtian has saved your daughter's life many times and cleansed Naga's Xian veins for your daughter. Currently, your daughter has almost reached the 9th grade Xian veins. Suddenly, Song Zhao's eyes shook. Not only that. Song Chunhua continued. Your daughter has also obtained a heaven-level Xian fire, the heavenly phoenix fire. All of this is thanks to Yang Dingtian. Your daughter is indebted to him. Song Zhao's body shook. He looked at Song Chunhua and said, You have a heaven-level Xian fire? Yes. Song Chunhua said. Not only that, he also gave your daughter a lightning rune. Therefore, every time I use my sword, there will be thunder and lightning. No one can block it. In less than 10 years, there will be no more than 10 people in the world who can match me. The World Association will definitely be stronger and stand firm in the chaotic world. Song Shao was silent for a moment and asked, Yang Dingtian, what are you doing here? Yang Dingtian did not speak. Qin Huayu stepped forward and said, Sect leader Song, your daughter, Song Lihua, is noble and beautiful, virtuous and virtuous. I respect and love her very much. Therefore, I am here to propose marriage to Sect leader Song. Sect leader Song, please allow it. Then, Qin Huayu presented the Qian Kun ring with both hands. This is the Qian Kun ring that I obtained in the secret realm. It can reflect all kinds of damage. Its maximum power is equivalent to the cultivation of the wearer. Although it is not as valuable as Miss Song Lihua, it is a token of Qin Huayu's sincerity. I hereby present it to Sect leader Song. Song Zhao's eyes trembled. The Qian Kun ring, there was actually such a treasure in the world. He, Song Zhao, was a 9-star 9th grade Grandmaster. He was only half a step away from becoming a great Grandmaster, but it was difficult for him to advance. Therefore, although he was the overlord of the world, he was still one step away from the top of the world. He was still one step away from the position of Qin Wanqiu and Dongfang Minmi. This was his biggest regret. If he wore this Qian Kun ring, it meant that his cultivation was not as high as a great Grandmaster. However, in front of an ordinary great Grandmaster, he might be able to fight. Song Shao immediately fell into silence. Although they did not say anything, they were very clear in their hearts. On the left was Yang Dingtian. Song Chunhua owed him a great debt of gratitude. If nothing unexpected happened, Song Chunhua would become the most powerful leader of the world society in the past few hundred years. She was very determined to stand on Yang Dingtian's side. Song Shao had to consider it. On the right was Qin Chiqi and the Ning clan of the South Sea. As for Qin Chiqi, the Ning clan of the South Sea was very powerful. Although Song Shao was not completely clear, it was already shocking enough. It was so powerful that it made people hold their breaths. After a long time, Song Shao said indifferently, Yang Dingtian, you can't win. His meaning was very clear. Although Yang Dingtian owed the world society a great debt of gratitude, although Yang Dingtian's gift was very valuable, and he was very, very moved, he still chose to reject it. Because as a superior, the most important thing was to choose to stand on the side of the winner. You can leave. Song Shao said indifferently, as for the impending war, and the possibility that the world society will fight for the 1,000-mile territory of Cloud Sky City, I apologize to you first. Song Shao chose to reject. Song Chunhua's expression changed. She raised her head and said, "Father, no matter what choice you make, I will follow Yang Dingtian. I will follow justice and fight to the end, even if I have to pay with my life." Suddenly, Song Zhao's gaze turned cold. The entire hall instantly turned cold. It was extremely oppressive. Song Chuanhua's words were very serious. It directly meant that she was going against Song Xiao. This also meant that if Song Xiao rejected Yang Dingtian, he would lose his most outstanding successor. That would mean the complete decline of the world society. "Song Chunhua, you should know that I will not be threatened by anyone. I will not allow anyone to threaten the safety of the world society. For this, I will do anything, including the thing that I do not want to do the most. For the world society, I can kill anyone," Song Xiao said indifferently. "As long as I don't die, I will definitely follow Yang Dingtian," Song Chunhua said resolutely. Song Xiao slowly extended his hand and said indifferently, "The few of you, the following is a family matter of the world society. Please do as you wish." He was actually going to make a move. He was going to make a move on his own daughter. Yang Dingtian stepped out and said, "Sect leader Song, please wait. I know that anyone will choose to stand on the side of the victor. What if we say we're going to win, that we're going to be the victor? With just you?" "It's impossible," Song Xiao said indifferently. "I know that Qin Chichi and Ning Wuming have the almost invincible blood pupil army. There are also 9 masters and 1 great master," Yang Dingtian said indifferently. "However, I will still win. Qin Huayu, Song Chunhua, and I are all masters. We also have trump cards that you will not expect, so we will win. You can still stand on the side of the victor." Song Zhao's gaze moved. He then said coldly, "Yang Dingtian, it's useless to rely on your mouth. It won't take long for me to prove it to you," Yang Dingtian said. "You can even symbolically send an army to suppress Cloud Sky City. Song Chunhua can conceal her identity and fight side by side with me. You just need to give Qin Huayu the name of the engagement and let us rope in sect leader Qin Wanchou. When the war ends and we lose, you can back out of the engagement at any time. If we win, we will immediately announce Song Chuanhua's identity. No matter what, you will stand on the side of the victor. In other words, you can wait until the war ends before you officially choose a side. Now, just give us a chance. How about it?" Suddenly, Song Zhao's gaze moved. It was obvious that Yang Dingtian's suggestion moved him. This way, he could indeed be in an invincible position. Of course, this way, he might not be able to obtain the 1,000 miles of territory of Cloud Sky City. However, in comparison, an incomparably powerful successor of the world society was perhaps more important. At this moment, the little Princess Vulture suddenly said, "In any case, our Vulture Palace was completely on Yang Dingtian's side." Song Xiao glanced at the Vulture Palace. Everyone in the world knew how powerful and mysterious Wulingzi was. In fact, everyone in the world had a concept in their hearts. In this world, if there was a so-called half-saint expert, other than Wu Yu from the Sea of Hades, it would be Wulingzi from the Vulture Palace. This decision was really difficult to make. To be honest, Song Xiao could not imagine that Yang Dingtian had actually broken through to the master level. Song Xiao was very clear about what it meant to break through to the master level at such a young age. If he chose to be enemies with Yang Dingtian this time, and Yang Dingtian happened to not die this time, then, 10 years later, the consequences would be very terrible. Perhaps, it would be the destruction of the world society. Yang Dingtian's posture was completely the posture of the future number 1 person in the world. Song Xiao knew how terrible it was to offend the future number 1 person in the world. Moreover, he could not imagine that Yang Dingtian had actually brought along the little princess of the Vulture Palace and Zhu Hongxue. These were the strongest youths in the world with the noblest status. They were actually united with Yang Dingtian as the core. Song Xiao was also very clear about the weight of this. Suddenly, the balance in Song Xiao's heart gradually slid towards Yang Dingtian's side. At this moment, an extremely pleasant voice suddenly came from outside. Wu Maji from the Ning clan of the South Sea is here to pay a visit to sect leader Song of the World Society. Yang Dingtian suddenly trembled. Wu Maji. She actually came. This time, it was the real Wu Maji from the Ning clan of the South Sea, not Qin Ji in disguise. Chapter 433. Wu Maji did not come alone. She was followed by 4 people. These 4 people were wrapped in white robes. Their heads were also wrapped in white cloth, and even their faces were also wrapped in white cloth, revealing only 2 deep eye sockets. These people were very familiar. Back then, the people that Ning Wuming sent to kill Yang Dingtian and Bing Ling in Sky Devil City were dressed in the same way. These 4 people were the elders of the Ning clan in the South Sea. Yang Dingtian finally saw the real Wu Maji. She was completely different from Qin Ji. Or rather, even their race was different. After coming to the chaotic world, Yang Dingtian saw that most of the people were yellow, but the half-human race was slightly different. But overall, they were basically the same as the Chinese people on Earth. However, Wu Maji was completely different. She had completely different eyes. Her eyes were big and deep, and her pupils were a little brown, a little green, and even a little purple. Qin Ji's eyes were mesmerizing. However, after seeing Wu Maji's eyes, he realized that they were truly mesmerizing. That soul-stirring beauty, that profound mystery. Yang Dingtian felt that these eyes were made up of the most beautiful parts of the eyes of the Arabian and Persian women on Earth, plus the eyes of the Caucasian women on Earth. Moreover, she had a high nose bridge that other women did not have. That kind of beauty brought her extraordinary beauty, and it made her eyes even more mysterious and deep. However, the only parts of her face that could be seen were her eyes and the bridge of her nose. The rest of her face was covered by a veil. Even her head was wrapped in a headscarf. This kind of dressing was similar to that of a woman in the Middle East, and she looked very conservative. But in reality, that was not the case. Because her body, from her waist to her navel, and even her lower abdomen, was naked. She had a slim waist like a snake, and her skin was the color of honey. She was full of exotic charm and incomparable allure. The combination of strength and weakness, the combination of sex appeal and mystery, had an incomparable impact on men. The lower half of her body was wearing brocade trousers. From the waist to the thighs, it was tight and clingy, and below the knees, it was loose like a skirt. Complicated and mysterious carvings were embroidered on his trousers using golden silk. The bodice was decorated with beautiful and luxurious gems. This woman really had a devilish figure and devilish seduction. Among all the women that Yang Dingtian had met, she was the most exotic and mysterious. This kind of extreme temptation was the most alluring. After entering the hall, Wu Maji did not even spare a glance at Yang Dingtian and the others. As for Song Xiao, he was also dazzled by her dazzling and mysterious light, his eyes instantly blurred. It could be said that he had seen countless people and had seen all kinds of beautiful women. However, when he saw Wu Maji, he felt as if his eyes were being pierced and his heart was being squeezed. Southern Sea's Ning clan, Wu Maji, greets world meets sovereign song. She bowed slightly, the curves of her back and buttocks were breathtaking. Madam Wu, what's the matter? Song Xiao asked. I heard that Miss Song Lihua is beautiful and generous. I represent the Ning clan's young master to propose marriage to Miss Song Lihua, Wu Maji said straightforwardly. Yang Dingtian and the others were stunned. This Ning Wuming was too shameless. He had already married Qin Chichi, and now he wanted to propose marriage to Song Lihua. Of course, Yang Dingtian was not much better on this point. He had already married Yan Yan, but he still wanted to marry Qin Chichi. However, Song Xiao was extremely arrogant. Wu Maji's words instantly hurt him. He said coldly, the women of my world meet are not so cheap. Wu Maji said, if it can be done, when we attack Cloud Sky City in the future, the 1,000 miles of land will not only belong to the world meet. My Ning clan's Yin Chaos demonic turbidity will also belong to the world meet. We will use Yin Yan's life to threaten Yang Dingtian to hand over the Yin Yang reincarnation crystal and then hand it over to the world meet. This way, the world meet will have the celestial qi condensation purification array. When she said this, Song Zhao's breathing stopped. Obviously, this was an extremely huge temptation. Not only that, Miss Ning Bai, of the Ning clan of the South Sea will agree to marry young Master Song Minghua. Also, we are willing to help young Master Song Minghua break through to the master stage in the shortest time possible. Wu Maji continued. Also, we heard that sect Master Song Shao has been stuck at the 9-star level 9 master stage. He is only half a step away from the Grandmaster stage, but he is still unable to break through. We are willing to guarantee that as long as you agree to the marriage, we will help you break through to the Grandmaster stage within half a year. Wu Maji concluded. After she finished speaking, she fell into silence. She was not a good negotiator because she did not know how to bargain. She directly gave out the biggest and most shocking price. However, she was a domineering negotiator, and no one could resist her at all. Even immortals would be tempted by this condition, let alone mortals. The celestial qi condensation array, Song Minghua breaking through to the master stage, and Song Shao breaking through to the grandmaster stage. This condition completely suppressed Yang Dingtian's condition. The most Yang Dingtian could give was to cooperate with the world society to build a celestial qi condensation array and an interspatial ring. The interspatial ring was very powerful, but it was nothing compared to breaking through to the grandmaster stage. What made Yang Dingtian even more speechless was that Wu Maji repeatedly said that she would destroy Cloud Sky City in front of Yang Dingtian. She even said that she would use Yin Yan's life to threaten Yang Dingtian to hand over the Yin Yang reincarnation crystal. It was as if Yang Dingtian did not exist, or she did not even know Yang Dingtian. Song Zhao's body trembled. His eyes shone with a shocking light, and even his breathing became rapid. Soon, he gradually calmed himself down. Then, he looked at Yang Dingtian. He was no longer as cold as before. Instead, he became gentle. Nephew, let me think about what you said, okay? Song Shao said warmly. Yang Dingtian knew in his heart that today was just a simple negotiation, and the situation was already lost. Father, Song Chunhua shouted loudly. All right, Chunhua, stay here. Your mother has something to say to you. Song Shao said, Men, send these guests to the hotel to rest. Yes. A voice came from outside. Then, a middle-aged man came in and said to Yang Dingtian, this way please. Zhu Hongxue was unwilling. He felt that his identity as a genius was being ignored here. He immediately said, Uncle Master Song, you should think about everything carefully before making a decision. Suddenly, Song Zhao's eyes turned cold, but he said with a smile, when you become the Black Heaven sect leader, it won't be too late to talk to me like this. Wu Maji, on the other hand, completely ignored Zhu Hongxue, who was a genius. Suddenly, she said calmly, Young Master Zhu, your father just visited the Ning clan a few days ago. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's heart skipped a beat. Zhu Hongxue was stunned. He did not know why his father, as the Black Heaven sect leader, went to the Ning clan in the South Sea. He was about to retort with a cold smile, saying that the Ning clan in the South Sea was nothing. Yang Dingtian grabbed his arm and said, all right, let's go back first. Then, Yang Dingtian led everyone out of the main hall. Song Chunhua also wanted to follow. Chunhua, you haven't been home for half a year. Shouldn't you pay your mother a visit? Song Shao said coldly. Song Chunhua immediately fell into a dilemma. Go, come find us later. Yang Dingtian said, by the way, we'll wait for you for dinner. Song Chunhua nodded. Yang Dingtian's meaning was clear. She must find Yang Dingtian before dinner. Then, the middle-aged man led Yang Dingtian and the others out of the main hall and down the stairs. The highest-level hotel was on the 8th floor. However, the middle-aged man did not stop on the 8th floor. He did not stop on the 7th floor either. As they walked down, Zhu Hongxue was about to explode in anger. When had he ever been treated like this? As the young master of the Black Sky sect, no matter where he went, the leaders of the sects would give their houses to Zhu Hongxue to show their respect, let alone the highest-level hotel. In the end, the middle-aged man led Yang Dingtian to the first floor of Ba City. That's right, it was the first floor, the lowest level. The people who lived here were the low-level strongmen and servants of the world society. Therefore, it was noisy and filled with the smell of animal feces. This was completely going too far, and it was even a naked humiliation. Zhu Hongxue's face was cold. He did not say a word and was about to leave. Yang Dingtian grabbed him and said, "What are you doing? I'm not serving you anymore." "You can tolerate it, but I can't," Zhu Hongxue said. "If you can't even tolerate this now, how can you hold your head high in the future? Do you know how powerful the Ning clan in the South Sea is? Do you know how many people want to sell themselves to them? Do you know how powerful our enemy is? Are you going to give up before the battle has even started?" Yang Dingtian said. Instantly, Zhu Hongxue fell silent. His expression was still ugly, but he did not say that he was leaving. At this time, it could be seen that although the little Princess Vulture was naive and playful, she was very smart. She did not say a word. Although she was dissatisfied, it was as if nothing had happened. The middle-aged man led Yang Dingtian and the others to a so-called hotel. Yang Dingtian and the others dared to walk in, but they were almost pushed back by the smell of sweat inside. Inside, there were over 100 rough men and strong men eating. The food they were eating was all very crude. These people were all laborers in Ba City, so they were arranged to stay in the lowest level of the so-called hotel. Therefore, everyone's clothes were ragged and they stank of sweat. Yang Dingtian was fine, but the little princess could not stand it at all. She retched and was almost about to vomit. Yang Dingtian quickly stuffed a pill into the little girl's mouth. The little girl hurriedly took it and put it under her nose. When they saw Yang Dingtian and the others, the laborers were stunned. How could such a luxuriously dressed person stay in such a noble place? The middle-aged man said to the head of the hotel, "Pick the best room and invite a few distinguished guests." "Yes, sir." Then, the head of the hotel brought Yang Dingtian to the so-called best room. 5 people to a room, and there was only one large bed. The bedding on it was emitting a rotten smell. The tables, stools, and beds were all glossy and shiny. They had been soaked in sweat and oil for many years. The head of the hotel nodded and bowed as he left. "Wait," Yang Dingtian said. The head of the hotel trembled. Of course, he knew that these people were distinguished people that he could not afford to offend. However, if the higher-ups wanted to humiliate them, he could not do anything about it. Yang Dingtian took out a gold coin and said, "You've worked hard." The head of the hotel was stunned. A gold coin was half a year's salary. Immediately, he knelt on the ground and kowtowed without saying anything. Then, he left respectfully. Song Shao is humiliating us like this because he wants us to leave in a fit of anger. He wants us to give up. Yang Dingtian said, he has already made up his mind. He is very tempted by Wu Maji's suggestion. However, he is not willing to admit that he is a greedy person. Yes. Qin Huayu nodded. Then what should we do? Do we just stay here and let him humiliate us? Zhu Hongxue asked. Of course not, Yang Dingtian said calmly, it's good to stay here. There are crooks mixed in with the honest folk, and there is freedom. Yang Dingtian summoned the million-spirit demonic fire, which turned into countless resentful spirits and flew out. This way, he would know if there was any movement within a few miles. He was not afraid that someone would eavesdrop. We have already lost the negotiation with Song Shao. We can't give more than Wu Maji, Yang Dingtian said. However, it is impossible to give up. Therefore, we have to find another way. Next, we will take 2 steps. First, I will go invisible and find Song Lihua later. I will explain to her that she will agree to marry Qin Huayu. It will be best if we can do it in the shortest time possible, Yang Dingtian said. Ah, Yang Dingtian, you are despicable. Little Princess Vulture could not help but say. Then, she stuck out her tongue and said, all right, as long as you don't do that to me. Yang Dingtian glared at her. This little girl was being impudent when Song Chunhua was not here. Qin Huayu's face turned red, but he said seriously, as long as Miss Song Lihua is willing, I am willing to love and protect her for the rest of my life. All right. Yang Dingtian said, if Song Lihua's attitude is very positive, then we will proceed to the second step. We will force Song Shao to take a stand so that he has no choice. How do we force him to take a stand? Zhu Hongxue said, the 5 of us together should not be a match for Song Shao alone. In for a penny, in for a pound. Song Chunhua will lead us to kill Wu Maji and everyone she brought. Of course, we will not kill all of them. Leave one to report to the Ning clan, Yang Dingtian said. As soon as these words came out, everyone was suddenly shocked. Kill Wu Maji. Kill Wu Maji in front of Song Shao in the world gathering. Even Qin Huayu could not help but look at him. Yang Dingtian was always so ruthless and decisive when he encountered something major. If it was really like what Yang Dingtian said and Song Chunhua brought people to kill Wu Maji, then Song Zhao's escape route would be severed. He would have no other choice but to stand on Yang Dingtian's side. Do you agree with this 2-step plan? Yang Dingtian asked. Qin Huayu said, when the time comes, the consequences may be very serious. We have to cut off all means of retreat. At this time, we can only see who is more decisive, Yang Dingtian said. In just a few years, you broke through to revered martial artist. You're amazing, but that's all. I broke through to revered martial artist from profound martial artist in 3 months. All right, I'll take my leave. Song Minghua pointed at his eyes and said, don't act blindly without thinking. Don't take a step out of the room. I'll keep an eye on you. Zhu Hongshua's lungs were about to explode. Why is he so arrogant? Why? Zhu Hongxue said sternly. Because he's about to become the son-in-law of the Ning clan. He'll become the lackey of the nefarious demon crown prince, Yang Dingtian said. Little Princess Vulture's beautiful eyes turned and said, Yang Dingtian, do you want to kill Song Minghua? This way, Song Shao will have no choice but to let Sister Chunhua inherit the world society. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, I'll think about it. Qin Huayu was stunned. He thought that Yang Dingtian would refute him directly. He didn't expect Yang Dingtian to seriously say that he would think about it. Let's not kill him for now. The gains won't make up for the losses, Yang Dingtian said. At this moment, Zhu Hongxue suddenly asked, Yang Dingtian, did my father really go to the Ning clan of the South Sea? Zhu Hongshue's attitude was very serious. There was even an inexplicable fear and trembling in his eyes. Yang Dingtian immediately fell into hesitation. He didn't know if he should tell him the truth. This person was too sensitive, too fragile, too proud and conceited. He had already broken down once. Yang Dingtian didn't want him to break down a second time. Zhu Hongxue, I'll tell you 2 things. Yang Dingtian said, first, your pride should come from your will, talent, character, and heart. Not because of your identity, and definitely not because of your father. No matter what your father or your identity changes, it can't break your pride. Second, I won't say anything about your father. I want you to see with your own eyes and judge with your own heart. After hearing Yang Dingtian's words, Zhu Hongxue suddenly trembled and his eyes became hot. Yang Dingtian's first sentence really went straight to his heart and directly shook his heart. There were some things that he didn't even know, but Yang Dingtian said it directly. It made his heart suddenly light up as if he had become strong. This feeling of instant confidence was too good. Then, Yang Dingtian said, "Let me say the third thing. As long as you don't betray us, we will never betray you. When you need us, even if the whole world betrays you, we are willing to give up everything for you, even our lives." Instantly, Zhu Hongshue's eyes turned red, his breathing became rough, and his whole body trembled slightly. "All right, time is of the essence, I won't be emotional." Yang Dingtian smiled and said, "Now there are Song Lihua's soldiers outside. We don't want to act rashly and alert the enemy. You guys stay inside and don't move. I will go invisible and find Song Lihua and try to persuade her." Then, Yang Dingtian directly used the mystic invisibility skill and left the room. After he left, little Princess Vulture suddenly said, "Wow, I feel that Yang Dingtian's brainwashing skills are very powerful." Unknowingly, I lost my position and actually followed him. Although this was too direct, it was still acceptable. The little girl's next words made Yang Dingtian unable to accept it. Sigh, luckily Yang Dingtian only knows how to brainwash people to gain faith and not to gain sex. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if I lose my position, but if I lose my chastity, I will be finished. Yang Dingtian, who had not gone far, decided that he must not let Song Chunhua be too far away from the little girl in the future. This little girl, he must not leave her alone or not hit her. Song Lihua was the one and only princess of the world, the apple of Song Zhao's eye, and his most beloved child. Originally, only Song Xiao and his wife were allowed to live on the 9th floor of Ba City. Even Song Chunhua could only live on the 8th floor. And Song Lihua, the #1 beauty in the north, was the only daughter who lived on the 9th floor. At this moment, she was in a beautiful small building, supporting her chin, looking at the distant scenery and sighing softly. Then, she walked to the table, picked up a brush, dipped it in ink and started to draw. Suddenly, a shadow moved in front of her. "Who?" Song Lihua cried out, then she held the brush in her hand tightly and pressed it against her chest. Chapter 434. Cloud Sky City's City Lord, Yang Dingtian, greets Miss Song Lihua. Yang Dingtian directly appeared and bowed to her in the safest way possible. He must not let her feel threatened at all. "Oh, it's you." Song Lihua's face was pale, but the fear and vigilance in her beautiful eyes relaxed. It was as if she had heard of Yang Dingtian before. Song Lihua was very beautiful, and she was a very typical Oriental beauty. She should be very similar to Qin Yuanyuan and Shishi's type. Delicate, charming, and beautiful, it filled people with an endless desire to protect her. Any man with great power would want nothing more than to snatch her into their own room and pamper her endlessly. She and Song Chunhua were both women, but she seemed to have used up all the charm of the Song family's daughter. However, Yang Dingtian only took a glance at her peerless peach blossom face before he looked towards the ground. This was because a man directly appearing in a girl's room already gave her a huge sense of danger. "Is there something you need?" Song Lihua asked. She did not question Yang Dingtian's rude intrusion. Yang Dingtian thought for a while and said, "First, I want to make it clear that no matter how nice my words sound, they are actually offensive to Mississippi, yes." Song Lihua nodded. "Miss should have heard that Qin Huayu and I are here to propose to Mississippi," Yang Dingtian said, "and Wu Maji of the South Sea's Ning clan is also proposing to Miss on behalf of Ning Wuming. I rudely barged into Miss's room just to win Miss's favor and make your heart more biased towards Qin Huayu." Compared to the South Sea's Ning clan, you have already won some of my favor, Song Lihua said. Yang Dingtian was stunned and expressed that he did not understand. Because City Lord Yang specially came in front of me to win my favor. This in itself is a form of respect for me. Unlike others, who only fight for my father's will and do not care about my thoughts, Song Lihua said. Miss, you're so pure and innocent, Yang Dingtian said. City Lord Yang, can I ask you a few questions? Song Lihua asked. Miss, please speak, Yang Dingtian said. Is my marriage to Qin Huayu very important to you? Song Lihua asked. Very important. Yang Dingtian said, we are in a very, very weak position. Our enemy is extremely powerful, probably hundreds of times stronger than us. I dragged Qin Huayu down with me, I dragged your sister Song Chunhua down with me, and now I've dragged Zhu Hongxue down with me. The reason why I want Qin Huayu to marry Miss is because I want to drag the world society and your father into the water and make him stand on our side. After that, he would be able to influence the Northwest Qin city lord, Qin Wanchou. This is the only way the Western continent will not fall. Will you guys win? Song Lihua asked. I don't know. We might win a battle, but we can only buy time. Ah! Song Lihua exclaimed, looking at Yang Dingtian in disbelief. Then, she smiled. City Lord Yang, you're really not a qualified leader. You shouldn't tell me this kind of top secret. If I'm even a little untrustworthy, the consequences will be too serious. Yes, you think so too now, Yang Dingtian said. Then, Yang Dingtian said, then I'll take my leave first. Miss, think about it carefully. No need, I agree. I'm willing to marry Qin Huayu, Song Lihua said. So fast? Yang Dingtian said, no matter what noble reason you use, as long as you decide a girl's lifelong happiness because of benefits, it's not a noble thing in itself. From the beginning to the end, you didn't use nobility and justice to suppress me, Song Lihua said. Maybe that's just a more cunning method of mine. Yang Dingtian said, Miss, why did you agree so quickly? Song Chunhua is an extremely proud, noble, and righteous person. Song Lihua said, I often laugh at her for being silly, but I admire her the most. Of all the people in the family, I love her the most. She's so loyal to you and follows you so wholeheartedly, which surprised me. It also made me curious about you. That's why I asked you 3 questions. I want to understand you, I want to understand you. And the result? Yang Dingtian asked. The result is that I envy you. Song Lihua said, even though you don't talk about justice and nobility, you're an expert for justice. This kind of loneliness makes me admire you very much. I really want to join you and become an amazing person. But, this is related to your marriage. Yang Dingtian said, without feelings you'll never be happy. Song Lihua's beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of craftiness. City Lord Yang, I'll ask you another question. Between you and Qin Huayu, who will I fall in love with? Yang Dingtian's face immediately turned red. He waved his hand and said, I'm not qualified to answer this question right now. Song Lihua laughed and said, as a leader, I admire you very much. You're not only noble and righteous, but you're also flesh and blood, not cold and heartless. But as a man, I really don't admire your type. You're fickle in love, you seem to be single-minded, but you're actually overflowing with ambiguity. I really don't like these. Men are either overbearing and openly fickle in love, or they're single-minded and deeply devoted. I really don't like men like you. I like men with scars like Qin Huayu. Song Lihua hit the nail on the head, making Yang Dingtian feel a little embarrassed. As if she wasn't satisfied, Song Lihua continued, actually, if you just choose a man, even if Zhu Hongxue is conceited and naive, he's much better than you in terms of feelings. With that, Song Lihua let out a long breath and said, "All right, thank you for letting me say these words. At that time, I heard that you married Shiman Yan Yan, married Qin Jiao Jiao, and then ran off to be with Dongfang Bingling. I was really angry and even thought of writing a letter to scold you." With that, Song Lihua stuck out her tongue and said, "I'm sorry, but I'm just a person who likes to take things seriously and go down a dead end." Yang Dingtian couldn't help but say, "You and your sister are actually the same kind of people. You're both stubborn and persistent, but the direction is different." "Alright, you can go back." Song Lihua said, "I'll think of a way to see you guys and Qin Huayu now. I'll make it look like what's done is done." Yang Dingtian was stunned again. He realized that he really didn't understand women. Then I'll go and ask Qin Huayu to wait." Yang Dingtian. Then, he used his invisibility mystic skill and left. Soon, Yang Dingtian appeared in front of Qin Huayu, Zhu Hongxue, and the others. Zhu Hongxue didn't look too concerned, but Qin Huayu's face was filled with nervousness and uneasiness. Little Princess Vulture directly grabbed Yang Dingtian's arm and said, "How was it? How was it? What was her attitude? Did she agree?" Instantly, Qin Huayu's lips began to tremble. Indeed, he had fallen into an absolute inferiority complex when it came to relationships. "She agreed," Yang Dingtian said. "Really?" Little Princess Vulture said. Qin Huayu's body suddenly shook, and his eyes revealed a look of disbelief. "Yang Dingtian, could it be that she took a fancy to you, and then made a huge sacrifice to agree to marry Qin Huayu?" Little Princess Vulture said. Instantly, Qin Huayu's face turned pale. The little girl also seemed to know that she had said something wrong, and immediately slapped her mouth in regret. Yang Dingtian said with a wry smile, "Today is probably the most embarrassing day of my life. I'm completely ashamed by Miss Song Lihua's words." Then, Yang Dingtian stepped forward and patted Qin Huayu's shoulder, saying, "Senior brother Qin, you'll know in a while. You're on your own now. This girl, I guarantee you'll be eaten by her. She's too powerful." Qin Huayu's face immediately regained its color, and then he became even more embarrassed, saying, I am actually not worthy of her. If it wasn't because I needed her, I really wouldn't dare to do anything to her." Then, Qin Huayu said, "How about we just marry in name? I guarantee that I won't dare to violate her in any way." Yang Dingtian said, "That, you have the final say. However, I suspect that you don't have the final say. Prepare well, she's coming to see you soon, and she said that she wants to cook the rice." Instantly, Qin Huayu's face turned red, like a cooked shrimp, and he fell into absolute unease. Song Lihua's arrival was faster than expected. When she came to the hotel, she was wearing a cloak and a veil. But when she walked in, she lifted the veil and took off the cloak. Her graceful curves and beautiful face were completely exposed in front of everyone. Bang, 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 suddenly, all the men in the lobby were stunned, and all the things in their hands fell to the ground. Then, it wasn't a burning gaze, but an incomparable shame. They desperately retreated and rubbed their hands on their clothes, afraid that the stench on their bodies would suffocate her. The lobby was very smelly, but Song Lihua didn't even frown. Instead, she smiled at the slaves. Suddenly, the entire lobby seemed to have bloomed like flowers. Everyone would remember this moment forever, as if they had really seen a fairy. Soon, Song Lihua came directly to Yang Dingtian's room. Then, she greeted them one by one. Then, she said to Yang Dingtian, "City Lord Yang, can you leave me alone with Qin Huayu for a while?" "Of course," Yang Dingtian said. Then, he pulled the reluctant, envious, and jealous little princess out of the room in Vulture. Song Lihua closed the door directly. Qin Huayu, who was inside, couldn't even breathe. She looked extremely miserable. They stood in the aisle. The little princess vulture felt a huge blow and muttered to herself, "There is no good woman in the Song family. One day, I will disfigure all the women who are more beautiful than me." Then, she asked, "Yang Dingtian, do you think that if I start cultivating now, my charm will surpass Song Lihua one day?" Yang Dingtian shook his head honestly. The little girl went forward and gave Yang Dingtian a ruthless kick. Of course, there was no strange sound in the room at this time. They were just talking. With Yang Dingtian's cultivation, it was easy for him to hear. However, it was also easy for him to make himself completely deaf. Only the little princess vulture tilted her ear, intending to eavesdrop. Yang Dingtian pulled her small ears and didn't allow her to listen to it. The little princess stomped her foot and said, "Yang Dingtian, don't touch a girl's ear. This is my sensitive area, second only to my chest. If you touch it like this, do you still have my chastity?" Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was speechless and quickly let go. He really didn't mean it. The longer he stayed with this girl, the less he treated her as a woman. He completely treated her like a child. That was why he reached out and pulled her ear. Look at Zhu Hongxue. How handsome, how cool, how elegant, how elegant, how elegant. The little girl said, "Look at you. In any case, the gap between you and Zhu Hongxue is bigger than the gap between me and Song Lihua. There are at least 2 or 3 qin jis between you." The little girl wanted to drag Yang Dingtian down with her when she suffered a blow. In the face of such praise, Zhu Hongxue's face was still cold. He had been praised since he was young. That's right. Men are golden on the outside but rotten on the inside. After interacting with him for a few days, I also know that Zhu Hongxue is childish and has no inner qualities. But he's handsome. As long as a man is handsome, anything can be forgiven. Yang Dingtian, you're not handsome and have no inner qualities. This is a sin. The little princess vulture continued. Zhu Hongxue frowned and turned his face away. Yang Dingtian pretended that he didn't hear anything. "Ah, am I talking about myself?" The little princess vulture said uneasily, "I'm not as pretty as Song Lihua and I'm not gentle or charming. I can't learn Qin Jiaojiao's big breasts and brainless unruliness and I'm not as cute as Big Grandma Shiman. As a woman, am I hopeless? Am I really hopeless?" Yang Dingtian and Zhu Hongxue looked at each other and resisted the urge to sew the little girl's mouth shut. "No, no," the little princess vulture muttered to herself again, "Yang Dingtian has no inner qualities and is not handsome. His position among men is even worse than my position among women. But he has so many beautiful women who like him. I'm definitely better than him." Soon, the little girl found a way to comfort herself. Yang Dingtian couldn't take it anymore and wanted to pinch her little mouth. Right at this moment, there was a sudden burst of angry footsteps from outside. Then, Song Minghua rushed in and pointed at Yang Dingtian's nose angrily, "Where did you take my sister?" "Yang Dingtian, please put your finger down." "Yang Dingtian, if you dare to do anything to my sister, I won't let you off the hook. I guarantee that you won't leave the World Club alive," Song Minghua said. Then, he rushed over and kicked the door open. The door opened before it was kicked open. Song Lihua opened the door. She tidied up her clothes, tidied up her messy hair, and gently wiped the rouge at the corner of her mouth. "Second brother, what's wrong?" This woman was really a top-notch actress. She didn't do anything inside. Her performance at this moment made people believe that she had done everything. What did you do?" Song Minghua asked in disbelief. "It's just as you think," Song Lihua said. "Bitch, you bitch." Song Minghua slapped her. Song Lihua raised her chin and let Song Minghua slap her. At this moment, Qin Huayu rushed over and kicked at Song Minghua. Song Minghua miserably dodged Qin Huayu's foot. His entire body trembled as he pointed at Song Lihua and said, "You slut, you've caused a disaster. You'll destroy our world society." You bitch, you shameless bitch, come back with me. I'll make father throw you into the river and drown you alive. You don't have to say that. Song Lihua said, I'll go see father now and tell him that Qin Huayu and I have already pledged our lives to each other. Please let us be together. With that, Song Lihua walked out of the room. Song Minghua was startled as he didn't expect Song Lihua's attitude to be so aggressive. He then looked at Yang Dingtian with resentment and said coldly, just you wait. I will make sure that you won't be able to walk out of the world society alive. Yang Dingtian ignored him. Let's go. Song Minghua left in anger. When they left, Yang Dingtian said with a serious expression, get ready to kill Wu Maji immediately. Time is of the essence. Hurry, hurry. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.